right, welcome everybody to another episode of Myth Podcast. I'm JKG. I'm joined by Asmo and Limp, and today we will be covering the Myth World Cup 2025 finals match. How's it going, guys? You excited to cover this match?
Going pretty well. Yeah, this should be a fun podcast. I think it'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just played the match yesterday, but I was pretty stressed out during the match, so I'm still seeing all the things I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, you were locked in, Asmo. I mean, as we all were, right? Like everybody's try to put in their best performance and stay focused. So yeah, it's good to to like have it finally behind us. Asmo, of course, is feeling really good because he won, and that was my first Myth World Cup finals match loss ever in whatever 25 years now, however many MWCs, maybe 15 MWCs, something like that. So
Yep.
Asmo finally beat me. I'm glad Asmo did it. I'm happy that he's the one to do it. So and I always told everybody, I was like, you know, there's nothing supernatural about all my wins. Like people just need to like learn some things, and then they can actually a lot of times I was just winning, um, on like strategic advantages that I really anybody could have closed those gaps. And Asmo close those gaps this year. I mean, he was in the finals last year, and he like
Oh
learned all
yeah.
this shit right afterwards, and he closed those gaps, put in a solid performance. So
I'd say that this win probably represents his best individual performance in a Myth World Cup. I'd say.
yeah, individual performance also as yeah. I didn't see your stats, Asmo. I mean, maybe I did. I forgot, but I remember in the match though, like yeah, you were like capping and playing very well, and you had some big roles. You might have had like one or two kind of bad games, but everybody kind of does, right? Like so, but otherwise, like it was like super solid, and you're capping at the same time. It's hard to do both, right? So yeah, I don't know. How do you feel
Yeah.
about that, Asmo? Do you feel like you were maybe getting a taste of like what it was like to I guess you were heavy hitting in a sense, heavy hitting and capping at the same time. You were doing that match for sure.
I'd say
Yeah,
like
you
half
did it
the
on the
games
first
at
like
least.
3 out of 4 games. You were heavy hitting and
Yeah.
capping. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It sort of just like depends on the unit set, whether how capable I am to do it while captaining, and I mean it worked out for some maps. Just like FG's pretty easy to captain and control just one or couple units, and yeah, I don't know. Um, I like the heavy hitting units because usually they're fast and it allows you to do things, captaining things while they're running around in space, and you don't have to like engage in a fight.
It's like Myth offlaning.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Your team was really good. Like I told my guys, I told everybody my team before the tournament even started. I was like, everybody listen up. Like this is gonna be the hardest fucking team to play against in the history of my like. This is the strongest opposing team I've ever played against. I knew it right away. I told everybody right away. So I knew this Myth World Cup was going to be the hardest one for sure. I tried to sound the alarms as best I could, and yeah, I think everybody, our team, we put in our full effort. There's no there's nothing really I can say like as an excuse. We put in our full effort, so yeah. I mean, it was a totally legit win. There's no. I know some other people that were complaining, about little things here and there, but there's really, from my perspective, nothing to complain about. Like it's a totally legit win, solid. Your team's really fucking good. They played really well. Even some of the players that we talked about, like ooh, they might be a little inconsistent. Everybody like showed up, I think, for your team during the match. They played really well. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll get into the individual performances when we watch the films, but yeah, that's about all I can say, I guess, to set it up for us before we dive into the films. Do you
Yeah.
guys have
Yeah.
anything to add to that?
Yeah. I was just gonna say I'm in a really you know great position to to look at this. I think in between you two guys who are normally casting here, and both you guys are capping each team. I'm capping neither team, so I kind of have a little bit more of a different perspective on it, just coming from more of a neutral place, if you will. So yeah, I want to see what kind of pops out to me as someone who didn't participate but was paying attention to your guys' matches and watching those films. Like, definitely fortunate right now to sit in and kind of have some perspective on it.
We should also say Asmo's team was undefeated the entire tournament, which doesn't always happen for the MWC winners. So
It was very close matches too. They were all
yeah,
3-2, 3-2,
well, I
4-3.
will say this: our first match, QR1, we made it close in the game score at least. It really shouldn't have been that close. Like if it fell that match in QR1, like we got stomped pretty good, but like pulled out some cats out of the hat kind of thing to get 2 wins. So every single match, yeah, every single match was super close, except for that first one maybe. At least on the scoreboard, they were within 1 game of each other. Every single match went down to the last game, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Asmo?
Yeah,
That seems
and
right. Yeah.
they weren't comfortable wins either. Like they both involved comeback. The last 2 from my team. We're down. Had
At
to
least,
win 2 games in a row.
at least the top bracket finals and grand finals were like that. Actually, the QR1 match, you guys might
Yeah.
have gotten the 3 wins
Yeah,
early, I
we
think.
did.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'll say that first match QR1, I will have some excuses myself personally. Like Asmo, you and I would talked about this. Like I was still quite rusty during that match.
You were 100% rusty.
Yeah.
You were not the GKG that first match that you're accustomed to being. That's for sure.
Yeah. But I did
But
find my groove soon thereafter. So
and your roster improved since then because
yeah.
you didn't have Kirk, you didn't have Sam. You were missing like key guys that first quarter round
Yeah, that was
matchup.
our weakest roster, and I can't remember if I invited Kirk. I think I invited Kirk before that match. I think so.
I think it was on the team. You guys weren't sure if he was actually going to play.
Yeah, you actually helped us get a hold of Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always I was telling Asmo this before. Like Kirk is a controversial figure in the mid community to say the least, but I always say about him like he's the guy. It's like break glass in case of war. That that when like you're desperate and you really need to fucking win, like you just fucking you hit the alarms. You call in Kirk because like the dude. I mean, you can hate people can hate on him all they want, but the dude is a fucking beast of a player, right? And he was super solid for us this MWC, so definitely needed him. And Sam's always good too. Sam is like so crazy, like he doesn't play at all. He only shows for like half of the MWC matches, but like every time he shows up, he's still pretty freaking solid, right?
His micro is very, very good.
Yeah, well, and he's a pretty smart player actually.
Oh yeah,
He
no,
makes
not
good
to discredit
decisions
that.
all on his own. Yeah.
No, not discrediting that at all. Just saying he's an exceptional like micro player. Just in a fight, he'll just do like the littlest things to try and get extra damage. Like you'll see it on the axe map when he's going against Asmo. Like his attention to detail. So not many people are at that level that he's at.
Yeah, I can let me finish talking about the rest of our guys too, just to go into a little more detail of our team dynamic. So LSO, of course, is kind of like he is like actually our captain. Some people refer to me as the captain. I mean, I guess if you want to say like we're both the co-captains in some sense.
I would say you're the strategist and he's the captain more than anything. Right?
I mean, we always collaborate on the strategy. Like, yeah, you could say
Yeah.
I maybe am primary strategist. Like, I kind of get final say, or at least LSO defers to my opinion
Yeah.
on a lot of things. Almost too much. That's a conversation. LSO has been right about some things that I think we found the right balance. I caught a couple things whenever I put more thought into the strats, which I did for just the top bracket finals and grand finals. I usually catch myself on a couple things that I'm like, okay, yeah, you were right about that, LSO. But like, if I don't do the extra work, he's usually not gonna like he's not going to be like, GKG, you're wrong about this. We should talk about it. He's not going to do that. Like, I kind of have to catch it. So,
Sure.
but I always tell him, like, no, dude, you do need to do that. But it's fine. Like, he's good. He still contributes plenty with the strategy. It's not like I'm doing everything with the strategy. So it's
Of
very
course
much
not.
a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
collaborative process. Actually, Kirk was, we actually had like three strategists on our team, to be honest. Kirk was there, I think, almost every single one, certainly near the end of the tournament for the important matches. And Kirk is actually a pretty good strategist himself, So I like Kirk as kind of like, he's not going to like put the initial plan together, but like you want him to like bounce ideas off of. And I was starting to call him like our senior map analyst because he would go into so much detail looking for, he found the issues with like water crossings that the short units couldn't cross, like dwarves and ghouls, and like little things here and there, like, oh, this is a destructible object on the map over here, like, just I don't know, just all kinds
Yeah,
of little stuff like
that
that. So
that tracks with his background in playing a bunch of
yeah,
solo stuff and like speed running it and so forth. So he probably goes over like all that stuff with a fine tooth comb to figure out the wrinkles.
yeah, and I like having somebody around like that because several times things that he caught were like actually kind of important, and like I especially this day and age am not going to put in the time to like. Kirk is way more interested in that stuff than I am. Like that stuff
Oh,
would
as much
wear
help
on
as you can
me.
get doing any of this stuff, it's welcome.
Yeah, yeah, you need all the help you can get putting in that kind of effort. So, and then I would also say like LSO, Kirk and I all were like the throwers for our team, and Kirk didn't throw so much near like in the middle of the tournament. We had him throw I think a little bit in the beginning during QR, and then like kind of like the early DE rounds he wasn't so much, but then like yeah the last top bracket finals, bottom bracket finals, grand finals. I think those last three matches, I think he trowed every single time, if I'm not mistaken. And we kind of just rotated it. Like we kind of like LSO, Kirk and I are like a different kind of thrower. So I think we would like kind of pick based on what kind of throwing was called for on the map would be kind of how we determined who was throwing for that. So Sam, kind of our number four, I would say, all around, still solid. I don't know if he necessarily got heavy hitting roles after Kirk, LSO, and I, but still got like basically the next most important roles for us. And then
I
we
was hoping
had
to see him on Trow every now and then, but I understand it, not knowing if he's gonna actually be there or not.
Yeah, he was. I mean, we have so many freaking throwers on this team, though. Like, especially with Kirk, it's like holy shit. And LSO's throwing actually got better right before the tournament started too. So like LSO like fully fledged. Like there was definitely some issues with his throwing like before early this year. And so maybe we would have had like because like the reason I bring that up is like maybe last year I think we did have Sam. There was actually 2 or 3 years ago where actually I had to sit on throwing. It's only like maybe in the last year or so, maybe last year that I started throwing again because there was a lot of issues with my throwing, mostly having to do with this goofy MacBook Pro that I have to keep playing on. But I finally figured out to give it a more like PC like setup, so then I was able to start throwing again. But anyway. Yeah, and then we got Paris and Myrk. Yeah, Myrk is a new addition to this team too. So, I want to point out, like we have to point out, like Myrk and Kirk on an MWC team. That might be the greatest achievement of this MIT roster for this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who would have imagined that, right?
Is there any Easter eggs that came from that, or is it just they just got
No,
along the
no,
whole time? Oh, okay.
both guys were super chill about everything. No, zero drama whatsoever between them. It's so funny.
Disappointing, I must say. I
But
wanted to hear a story.
in fact, if I'm not mistaken, there was a little bit of camaraderie between the two going on about being, the premier orange mythers in the community historically, right? So yeah, but no, that was funny. I had to give. So I actually invited Myrk first to the team, and then I was like, "Fuck, we need Kirk too, right?" And that was like when I told Kirk, I didn't think Kirk would have an issue with it. I was like, "Hey, you're cool with Myrk on the team." Like, this is the thing people don't know about Kirk, and I always have to bring it up because he can be such a troll sometimes to people and talk so much shit to people, right? But on your team, he is like one of the absolute best teammates. I promise you. It doesn't matter like what beef you had with him. He like I don't think he cares. Honestly, he will team with anybody, and he will always be like the best teammate. And so like after I invited him, and he accepted. I had to like run it by Myrk too, just to be. I just want to make sure there's not going to be any issues. And Myrk was like, "Yeah, totally chill, totally cool with it as long as Kirk's not going to be, a dickhead or whatever." And I'm like, "Don't worry, dude." Like, because I just remember from 2011 teaming with Kirk. Like, yeah, Kirk's like super professional on his teams, and yeah, he people should get. I really respect that about him, to be honest. So I always like to point that out. And then our last kind of the bottom, rounding out the bottom of our roster is Killerking. He's a new addition. Um, I think Killerking did pretty fine, honestly. There might be been a little some rocky parts in the beginning, but he's new to the team, so that's to be expected. And other than that, like I think he meshed in well with the team. He took feedback well, so that's always like that's always like the concern coming on to this team, especially me. The thing, one of the unique things about being on a team with me is I will give lots of feedback. Like, if there's a mistake that was made in the game, you are going to hear about it from me, right? And not everybody can take that very well. So that's always the concern. Is like, I don't know. Like, some people, they take that shit personally, and then it's usually, sometimes it's not too long before they think I'm a raging asshole. And then like I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to do, right? Like, I don't know how to not be an asshole but still give the feedback, right? Um, so anyway, and then we have, of course, Funk and Spoon, who are OG MI team members. So Spoon we like to use on like archers and souls are kind of his premier roles, and Funk kind of just a role player along with Killerking. So yeah, that kind of describes our roster. Asmo, you want to give maybe a little intro for everybody on your team?
Sure. Um, yeah, this team is sort of like 2 years in the building. Last year, Mark and Dantski were on my team. We made the finals, and I was just like super impressed with their play and communication. So I brought them back this year, and I was surprised. Last year, I wasn't even expecting Dantski to play at all, but he was super active, and it continued over this year. So that's how those two ended up on the team, and then everyone else. I had there was a draft tournament before Mithril Cup, and I ended up teaming with a lot of them. That's where a lot of the other guys came from. Groove, Genghis, who never played, Homer, and then other than that, like I needed a roster good enough to beat you guys, and
Yeah.
I needed players I could trust. I went with players that that I believe could get the job done. So that's where Gekko came from, and we invited Arzenic later in the tournament once we realized Genghis wasn't going to be around, and it worked out because Eastwind wasn't able to make the final, so we definitely needed Arsenic. And Zur, he was on the team, he was off the team, he was on the team. My weakness I've had like the past maybe 3 to 4 years is always lacking try hours on my team, and that's one thing I don't want to miss out on this year. So that's why Genghis and Zur, why I wanted them both so bad on the team, and yeah, Zur was planned to be one of our try hours. So it's sort of the makeup of the team in terms of like the roles. I think it's one basically everyone on our team is strong, and you'll see like there's no one who consistently gets heavy hitting rolls on the dark maps. Zer gets Trow, and the light maps sort of shifts to other players. But I mean, Homer and Groove out of this group are definitely like the role players.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but your roster is kind of very much cut out of the cloth of a TMNT type of theme or mindset to selecting players, and this was talked about before too. Like, you learned some lessons from your roster last year, and you made the key adjustments there, probably, and obviously it was a big improvement, right? So
Yeah, I mean, my best experience playing Myth is with teams where I feel like I can trust every player on the roster to make good individual decisions when I'm not there to guide them. And so that
yeah,
was like a big, big push in my creation of this team. I wanted players I could trust like that.
yeah, that was very much the philosophy behind TMNT as well. How does this roster rank for you? Is this the best roster you think you've ever teamed with, ever? Like your best team
Mm,
ever?
I don't think so. I think it could have been. Say if we had Genghis and Eastwind, like if we had
Mm-hmm.
all, our top 8 guys actually
Right.
show up at the same time, I think it probably would have ended up being. But no, I just have to say that 2020, based on how it actually
Oh,
played out.
2020. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 2020 is still
Limp's
the.
happy to hear that. Shit.
I was anticipating that would probably be the case. I mean, that's both very strong rosters. I mean, not having Eastwind and Genghis is a pretty huge hit, but Genghis doesn't seem like he played in the whole tournament, so I wouldn't even really count him a part of it.
Yeah, he's not really on the team. Eastwind was, but he couldn't make the finals.
All
Yeah.
right. So I have a let's say controversial question. I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit here. Okay. So Asmo, since you're I think the best person to ask this question besides Limp and I. Like I think Limp and I are biased, and we have our answers are already known on this. So you're the tiebreaker. Um, between I mean, you said actually this team or 2020 would have been your two best teams. What team from TMNT do you think was the best year for
The
TMNT?
best team in tier, man. I'd say probably the OG team. I'd say 13.
Oh wow,
Bulls doesn't
interesting.
count, right?
Well, I mean, we can talk about Bulls too, but I'm just asking because we were talking about
Yeah.
TMNT and Asmo was on that team.
I just
So
didn't know if there was like a huge distinction. I thought that was just kind of like what you called like all the group of it.
yeah, we can talk about Bulls too though. So Asmo, who wins between OG like 2013 TMNT and I guess either one of these teams. I mean, we can't really say TMNT versus
It's
this team because it's got two key
yeah,
members
overlap
of it,
stuff.
but like say 2020, you think the 2020 team would have beaten 2013 TMNT
So, 2013 TMNT?
or any version, the
Man,
best version of TMNT, whatever that may be.
ooh,
I'd be
man.
curious to see your like how many times you've teamed with what players, you know?
Me or Asmo?
Yeah, GKG. I'd be
Oh,
interested to know
yeah, I
like who
probably
you
have
teamed with,
teamed with
how many
more than
times.
anybody else. I would think so. Yeah.
So I don't know. What year do you think is the best TMNT?
I
Because
was
I
gonna
mean,
say
like,
2017, or yeah, I was gonna say 2017. Like on paper, we were the most stacked. Like yeah, we didn't like we didn't have motivation to really stomp. I think, but that had more to do with like lack of challenging opponent in a sense. Not to too disrespect our opponent that year, but it just wasn't kind of bringing out the best in us. So I would say 2017 though. Like we had because we had yeah, because TMNT didn't have 2013. TMNT did not have Kruniak, and HMP didn't join until later. So like 2017, we finally had Kroon and HMP together, as well as the usual R's, and everybody else. So I think 2017 probably, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess my reason for the 13 is I don't. Once we got back in, once we made the qualifying round shift to like what our final roster ended up being, I feel like we didn't have necessarily a weakness on our team. I think even the best TMNT team, 2017, maybe on paper, I feel like there's still weak links that we were actually playing.
No, I mean, I agree. let's phrase it this way. So I agree, like 100%. TMNT would not have the BC power. Like we don't outmatch on BC power. Like, but our edge was always like the strategies and the coordination, right? Being quote unquote like smart. Not to say your 2020 team, obviously with both of you at Limp and Asmo, like pretty smart team too. But like I think the strategies would have been like obviously the only way we could have any of my teams could have competed against that roster is through the strategies, right? So do you think the BC power of the I mean do you well let me back up. Do you agree with that statement or no?
So okay, man, comparing to the TMNT teams is so tough, to be honest. Like it's hard for me to realistically make that comparison just because the time gap was so massive. Like the last TMNT team was 2017 that I was on at least, and then that's a 3-year gap between the 2020 team and then plus however many years, 8 years since this team. So like what I was thinking about today, I feel like this team is easier for me to compare to the 2020 team of which one's better. To compare them to TMT teams, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But like in
It's
terms of 2020, I think from the roster there was better clicking, and I think that makes a lot of sense. That year was super active, so everyone was playing literally big 2-team games every night for 3-4 hours. Like so people were on top of their game clicking wise, right? And then this year, in my opinion, the strategies evolved, and so I don't know. It's just different. That 2020 better clicking this year. I feel like the tactics quite a bit improved.
so you're not answer
I,
you don't know.
I
You
know.
don't know.
I
You're dodging the
don't know.
question. Okay.
I literally don't know. I
All
don't.
right. Fair enough. I thought I was trying to stir the pot, but Asmo dodged it. Okay.
It was a good answer. It is hard. It's hard to compare anything.
I
Think.
mean, what we can say though, I think I, I mean, let's ask this: do we agree that the question, the general framework of the question, is like, yeah, the 2020 team you guys had was. I mean, do you want to say it's the best BC skills team of all time? That I mean, maybe.
I don't know. It's up there. I think the only other team you could argue that comes to my head is the '09 team that you guys played on
Oh
Dantski.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think honestly the '09 team was a better BC team, and the 2020 team was a bit of a smarter team because we only really had like Genghis doing like heavy BC work. Everyone else was just kind of like I don't know. It wasn't such a BC centric like team at that point. It felt like other than Genghis. I guess is what my point is.
But the general gist is that the strength of that team was very much in the BC, and maybe in the execution to some extent too. But I think there is a real Achilles heel in terms of the trades and strategies at that point in time. Certainly, I mean, we already had this discussion, but
Sure, sure.
certainly from what we saw, I mean, we can, Limp talked about how they would have traded it and stratted differently against maybe
I think
me or something like that. But
it also I think there's things that do depend on that. I mean, captaining with you versus you is a little bit different. In addition to that, I noticed that it was mostly games today that were like brand new. So mostly maps today or yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday that were brand new. So I think there's a little bit of a tentativeness in how you're gonna actually like approach the map from anyone because it's never really been played out before, you know? So I noticed that both you guys were like really similar in kind of like what your trades ended up being most of the
oh, in
time.
this match, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was very similar most of the time. And to that point, when we played in 2020, that happened too versus LSO's team. So I think that there's something in
Lorraine
the
maps.
nature of like playing newer maps and like going to like what gravitating towards like what just makes sense to the from the eye test. In 2020 was very much like the same sort of situation, but you're also looking at it from the context of like seeing the match play out and like how I would respond to this instead of like being in the moment of like both teams just kind of doing that. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's something to mention that it's interesting that it was kind of similar both times where both teams really ended up trading like really similar for every single game more or less. And I thought that was interesting because I saw the same thing this match. Just almost all the trades were close to identical. So I think there's some nature of the game where that happens in newer maps. But
Asmo, what do you think about that statement by Limp? So, like, because the reason I ask you is because you're the connecting commonality between
yeah,
those 2 years. So, do you think you would have traded it the same? Your 2020 version of yourself would have traded these maps the same, or if you took yourself now and went back in time, you would have traded it the same. Like, what do you think?
Uh, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you.
Um, I mean, I feel like definitely go back in time. I would change the trades then. I feel like the way I've approached maps, I feel like I get trades right more often than not now. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's my opinion. It's just like
Yeah, I mean, I
trades
would
and
probably
tactics
change.
have
I
improved.
would probably change them too, going back in time with like hindsight. But again, I do think it is a little bit different, like going against you versus someone else captaining when you have like a pretty rigid approach sometimes to certain maps, like and kind of like how you'll trade for them. And it is the smart way. The rigidity is almost obvious because you can kind of tell like what that idealist trade is for you most of the time. So it seems like there's some way to like plan for that more. Whereas like for LSO, like I knew it wasn't just like him coming up with it. It was also Karma and Tiri and Arzenic and Dantski and Blade. So I knew they were also kind of like putting it all together too. It all again, it just kind of ended up with both rosters having like very similar trades, and I think there's something to that it ended up being so similar from both of us, and it ended up being so similar for you guys yesterday too.
I mean, that's an interesting theory or idea. I personally don't agree with it.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't,
I,
but as I
I,
said, I think it also depends. Again, like like different opponents, there's, I don't know. I would have anticipated for you to really max melee on a bunch of those maps, just because there was so much of it that I think you would have done more of like the slow push, like the hammer and anvil that you do with a lot of success. Um, but I would have anticipated that. Whereas LSO and their team was every time we were playing like practice matches versus them, which was all the time, they were trading like heavy artillery, and we were just having like artillery
yeah,
fights,
it's
and it
very
just kind
much
of
out
ended
of the
that
early
way.
2000s trades and
Yeah,
strats. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it
totally.
just kind of happened that way. But that's like when everyone was involved and there were games every day. That's just kind of like the way that it all split up. But I think it does make it different. It also makes it different because everyone was very active at the time. So even the people at the end of the roster were playing like every day. So it's just like I think it does change the way the game is played a little bit when you have like an entire community that's like active daily versus just showing for like once a week for a match is like also I think you strategize for that a little bit differently in some sense too. Um I don't know. Those are just some factors. I mean, there's I'm not I mean, I don't really think I would have done it any other way at the time because we won, so I'm happy with it.
Asmo, how do you feel about Limp's characterization of my trades being rigid? Since you and I trade pretty similarly now, do you feel it's more rigid now that you've kind of learned my quote unquote my way of trading or whatever?
I would say, and
So
I don't say rigid negatively. I mean, it's rigid in the sense where you're kind of trading for like an expectation for a map. Like you're gonna go for the thing that's the smartest with the units most of the time, almost all the time. So I think that I don't know. It's that's what I mean by rigid is that there's like kind of like a rigid way to choose the right trade for a map, and you try to stick to that. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think I don't know. I think like probably at least 80% of the maps, or not more. You can look at the map and pretty much get down what the best trade is. I think
Yeah,
there's some maps that are a little bit more difficult that you see, some variety from different teams. It's harder to figure out, like what the best option is. And then even in the maps that are like quote unquote more obvious, I think there are small differences you can do, which I would just call like tech choices with like, your leftover 10, 15 points or something like that. I think those are the
sure.
things. But for the most part, I feel like it's pretty obvious in like 80% of the maps. I feel like what I've learned for me is I feel like the bigger change actually isn't so much like the trade. Good captains and players, like as they practice and work on things, the trades are going to be more and more similar, but it's more of the strat within those trades because you can have the same trades, but the idea behind those can be very different where how
Agreed.
it plays
Yeah.
out with those units.
100%.
Yeah, the details do matter quite a bit. Like, and we've seen it in many games where like the trades are identical, but just the squad distributions are actually the only thing that's really different, and it ends up being a huge factor, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't really think of my process as quote unquote rigid. I mean, however you want to sugarcoat that word, Limp.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
honestly,
mean,
I'm not saying that negatively. I'm saying that there's, as Asmo was just pointing out, like there's like an 89% of the time, 80 to 90% of the time, you can kind of look at, uh, or 80. I think you said 80. 80% of the time, let's go with that. You can take a look at a map without having played it and kind of get the unit trade like almost exactly right. That's what I mean by the rigidity. There's like a rigidity that a lot of maps have that you're trying to trade that for that perfect trade, right? And I feel like there's a rigidity required in like getting it right. That's kind of what I mean. I don't mean that I really don't mean it negatively. It's something where I think like you're trying to choose the perfect set for the map, and you have to be rigid because it's like, am I gonna add another like 6 archers in? No, it's
all
like
right, all right,
you have to have like a
You don't
rigid
have to
way.
tap dance
Yeah.
around it for me. Okay, all right, I got you.
I'm
I
not.
got you.
I'm
All
just
right.
telling you that's my description of it. It's like
I
it's not a negative
I
thing.
do agree though that like 70 to 80% of the time the trades are pretty straightforward. Like that's been my experience too. Even when I was like trading, quote unquote, trading very differently than everybody else. I usually would only find openings in like a 7 game series match. I would only find like opportunities for major differences in the trade and strategy. Like usually like 2, at best 3 out of those games. Maybe on rare occasion it was 4, and I was like got super lucky, right? But like 2 to 3 was pretty much the norm and average, I would say. And I also just want to point out there was a strat we did in our QR1 match against Asmo's team that was actually heavy souls, which was that
Yeah,
whirlwind game, and that was a
yeah, and
pretty new,
there's
innovative
that.
strategy, and
Yeah.
that's where I actually was opting for more souls of all things, right? And so it's just like the way I think of it is just looking for the greatest synergies and efficiencies between the units and the terrain and the game type, everything on the map, right? Like that's
Of course. Yeah.
like whether that comes down to heavy or melee. I mean, it comes down to heavier melee than what people traditionally got for a long time, and I think people. I mean, certainly Asmo learned. I don't remember actually what your trades were like last year, Asmo. Um,
Yeah.
maybe your trades were like actually not that different. I'm not sure, but like I definitely think your strategies for sure improved. But
The trades improved too. I
did they?
mean, the
Okay,
trades were
more
they were
consistent at
pretty
least. Yeah,
they were pretty close last year, but there was more games that got off than
yeah,
I
yeah,
should
yeah,
have.
yeah. All right. Well, I think we about covered it. I think we got yeah, we kind of set this up. I can't think of anything else. We
I,
if we
I
think
have
of
one-
more things, we can.
I have one short question for you that I want to ask.
For me, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, so my team only had 8 players show. Actually, every match I never had the rotate player. You guys had 9 players, I believe, show up for
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
match, right?
We had to sit. So we had to rotate sitting, which I
So
never
let's
like to do, but
Yeah, I hate that. I'm so glad that there was always just 8. Like even if a quote unquote better player was there, I just hate dealing with that process. Did you guys have like set games who was gonna play who, or was it based on the momentum, how players were going? How did you guys figure out that rotation for those 3 guys?
we really didn't know if Sam was going to show up until basically the last minute. He kind of said he was going to show, but it was like a very cryptic response, and I didn't know how well to trust it. So we didn't know. We didn't do any planning for it in advance because we never really for sure knew that we were going to have 9. Basically, like there was a general idea that like, hey, yeah, we're gonna have to rotate people around, and it's probably gonna be mostly Killerking, Funk, and Spoon that are gonna probably rotate around, especially until we can get like make sure we're doing well, or maybe hopefully like ahead in the match in the series. And we LSO just asked for volunteers in the beginning, and then Sam immediately volunteered. We're like, no, Sam, you're not fucking sitting. Shit.
Dude, my gosh. That's the issue with it, because I had the same thing last year. You got like freaking Dantski volunteering to sit. You got Myrk sitting games. Like, what is happening, dude? We're trying
It's
to
the
win.
finals. This has all been 2 months of effort in the making. It's the only match of the year. We're not gonna just not put our best foot forward,
Exactly.
right?
But when I'm asking for volunteers, I'm expecting one of the clear bottom 3 guys to speak up and volunteer.
Right.
Not my
That's
freaking
code for the
go-to
the
player,
junior players who need to volunteer. Yeah, exactly. No, our guys actually, Killerking, Funk, and Spoon. I think those were the only 3 that sat anything. I
Yeah, you
I
guys
think
just
so.
recommended
Seems right.
those 3.
Yeah.
So they were all cool about it, and there was basically no issue. They basically decided between the 3 of them which games they wanted to sit, and that was it. So
Gotcha.
all right, let's start this first film here. If we think of more things, we can talk about it during the film. So yeah, we were. I'll just say, Asmo, our team was not super thrilled about this map pick. I mean, it's such an old pick. Yeah, like it's been played since the dawn of time, but it's just so coin flippy and RNG based with these damn FGs. So
I don't like FG maps in a 7-game series. I feel like it's worth putting one FG map in there though.
yeah, I just feel like of all the FG maps, this is like the most RNG coin tossy FG map there is. Basically, like there's got to be some better ones out there. They're probably hard to find, but
Yeah, I was looking. I actually had a different FG map originally. It was in the midst of 4 giants, like in the midst of 4 herons maps. But man, I was looking at it like that would have been the campiest, boringest game to watch ever. There's just so tight. Yeah, I don't know. So I just went with this because I couldn't find a good one, to be honest.
I'm actually running into some technical issues right now. I cannot pan my camera. Does that have anything to do with anything that I just installed for those textures? Like I don't know why.
I don't see why it would. They're
All
just.
right, let me just try
plugins.
restarting.
That's weird.
Yeah, let me try restart. I think I've had that issue before. Hopefully this doesn't fuck up the recording. Okay, it's working.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? I figured out what the issue was. Fuck. I think I need to remap my push to talk key, possibly. Damn it, dude. My push to talk is causing the issue. Basically, I can't pan while I'm talking. Let me check something real quick.
Okay.
You care if I ask questions while you're doing this?
Can what?
Ask you questions during this?
Yeah.
So I guess the only thing I'm surprised at, it's not a big deal. Like it's gonna just come down to execution, but you guys didn't max marts. You guys got 7 instead of 8. That's sort of surprising to me.
Yeah, we wanted a little bit more thrall. We took out a mort to get a bit more thrall. That was basically it. I thought 7 was fine. I don't think 1 extra mort was gonna make or break it, and there was concerns about. We definitely wanted to make sure we had enough. That was a problem we encountered in previous matches, is not putting enough thrall on D.
Yeah.
So that was a lesson we learned, and we're like, no, we need to start putting a heavier thrall on D, because the reason you need to put more thrall on D is like you should not have to send like a huge like if you like there was one game in particular, like a gold pack got leaked to our flag on CTF, and we ended up having to send like a bunch of warriors. There's Thal warriors that we had to send back, like all because like if we had just had 8 to 10 thrall on the flag, like we probably actually wouldn't have had to send anything back. And so having enough thrall on flag D is important. It can be very effective actually in kind of halting you can sometimes take an important squad out of the fight for them for like a good minute or two, because they don't know how much D you have on your flag, and if you have enough to just hold it, then they just spent like a good solid minute where they're like out of the fight, and now they need to reposition, and they wasted some time, right? So
Yeah, I feel like it can actually, especially because I mean I noticed that about you guys from the past for sure. You guys always have like the least amount of D possible, so it's definitely a big risk, right? If you don't cover the map perfectly, something can leak through and just like take an important objective. But no, speaking about the throw thing, leaving more throw on the flag, like it can actually become an offensive thing if the strat's planned around intentionally letting enemy leak through to a certain spot because you don't know you'll have enough to
yeah,
defend get sent
yeah,
through.
for sure. Yeah, like it depends on the context. A good rule of thumb I would say is like 4 to 5 thrall is pretty on the light side, and like 10 is on the heavy side. I don't think I usually ever see going more than 10, but never say never, right? Like it just depends. Like if there's a map with 55 thrall on it and there's just not a whole lot of other things for those thrall to do, and it's CTF on a really big map, you might want 50, like the bigger, basically the rule of thumb is like the bigger the map and like the more the flag matters. So CTF and FR are going to be those in particular. Um, and the bigger the potential threat to shit flanking around and pressuring that flag on a really big map, the more thrall D you need, right? So bigger maps that's probably almost the biggest factor. Like bigger maps tend to require more thrall D in general.
Is your stuff working now?
Almost, just a sec.
Yeah, I'd say my team is like pretty different this year based on my normal experience in terms of splits because usually your heavy hitters are like pretty consistent across the board regardless of the unit set, and I felt like my team actually shifted based on unit set, which I don't think is normal.
Sorry, can you say that again? Yeah, say that again.
You, usually on a team, a construction, your heavy hitters are like pretty
Oh, consistent.
consistent,
Yeah, I see what you're
consistent
saying.
regardless of the unit set, right? They can play everything.
Right.
But I feel like my team, there actually was a variance in terms of heavy, quote unquote, heavy hitting chase changing based on the unit set. Like I got ours on FG in this because he's usually a bit more passive, especially in dark maps, and I feel like FG is usually better being passive if there's like any goal around at all and stuff like that. And then Zero was on Trow, but on light maps he wasn't a role player, but he wasn't like the heavy hitting. So it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I would assume you're like it was basically probably Dantski and Mark. I'm thinking like heavy hitting on light maps, and then obviously maybe more so you and Zur on dark maps. Is that about right?
Well, yeah, I mean, a light, Arzenic, um, Dantski, Mark. Then I had to Gekko on gold packs. Yeah, I was usually a role player with the exception of a few maps on lights, I think.
Um, oh, cool. I think I found something. Limp. What were your predictions going into this match?
Honestly, I didn't even have a prediction. I think it felt it could have gone either way very easily with how both the last two matches played out. Both came down to the final game. Um, yeah, it was a coin toss really. Honestly, I thought that MIT would probably win in regular games.
You thought it'd
Was
go to
my
sudden
guess.
death at least, yeah.
Yeah, I thought we'd go to sudden death, and then from sudden death, I think it just honestly, I was guessing Asmo's team just because in a sudden death situation, honestly, I'm not even really sure if I picked you guys to win. It's just there were so many different factors. Like the main thing was that there were so many new maps, and they were all really large, and they all had a ton of units to distribute. So I had a feeling that the kind of like the weaker players of each roster would actually um, be more of a factor because of that, and it felt like Asmo's roster was stronger at the back end, more reliable players probably in those like 6, 7, 8 positions. And I thought that that would matter on like the bigger maps. Um, but really, honestly, I'm not sure if I had a prediction that I think it could have gone either way, and it almost did. So no, I had no real prediction going into it. If I'm being honest, I had no idea. I was just looking forward to a good match, and I think it delivered.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't really talk about that. Like that's generally the comparison between our two rosters is um, ours was more top heavy than Asmo. I would say probably our top three edge out. I mean, it's hard to say because
You cut out if you're
we
trying to talk.
Yeah, you cut out JKG.
can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, you said right when you started talking about the comparison with the two rosters.
Okay, so I would say our top three on our team, MIT, like Kirk, LSO, and I, arguably edge out anybody on Asmo's team. Unless, of course, we can play badly. You know, like it's not so big of a difference that if we play a little bit less than expected, and if Asmo's top players play better than expected, like they could still edge us out, right? It's not an overwhelming advantage, but I would say probably our top three edges out anybody on Asmo's team. Um, do you disagree with that, Asmo?
A little bit. I feel like that is probably the general consensus that most everyone thinks, and I think it's true to dark maps, giant maps, and more BC oriented maps. I feel like on light
Yeah.
maps, I'd argue that point.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's definitely more true on dark maps, 100%. Yeah, light maps, it maybe just evens out basically on light maps. Like Dantski are, yeah. I mean, you guys showed it. Yeah, like on light maps, you guys are super solid. We couldn't really find our advantages on light maps. So I mean, according to the results, I think that's absolutely true. So yeah, that's fair to say. Um, but then, like, of course, the bottom of our roster just does not compare to Asmo's like at all, and he has overwhelming advantage. Like Groove, Homer, who else? I mean, I don't even want to say anybody else is really like quote unquote more junior on your team. It's really just Groove and
Yeah.
Homer, right? So
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, so Groove and Homer going
And
up.
Homer is still very experienced too. He's no slouch.
Yeah, of course.
Captain Mithril Cup victory.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Groove's the
pretty
only one
big
who's
for a
like
stone player.
inexperienced. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they obviously outclass Funk, Killerking, and Spoon, especially in terms of like you know uh, less experienced players, and Funk and Spoon do like this is their fourth year on MIT, so it is a lot of like they definitely got a lot of experience in the last few years, I guess, on our team, but still. They do need to be supervised more than someone like Homer, for example. Groove, I don't know. Groove's a total anomaly this year, but seemed he like I've played him BC wise, like he's pretty solid. Yeah, that's and then Paris just didn't have a great tournament. We can talk about that more later, but Paris used to be a big name. I'm not trying to like throw shade at him or anything, but he's not the same Paris of old that we all really remember. At least he wasn't this year, and arguably maybe not last year either. So, and again, not that it just is what it is. Like if you don't have a good match, it's not a big deal. Whatever. But like when you see for me, it's like really our top four, right? It's like LSO, Kirk, Sam, and I are like the really four. I forgot about Myrk. Myrk's in there too. Myrk did okay. Myrk did fine. No complaints. But Again, Myrk was a much scarier name 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not as active as he used to be. So it's for me, it's really like our top four, and then after that, how does Myrk and Paris match up against? Like basically, let's ask this question: like, how does Myrk and Paris match up against Homer and Groove? Well, Groove definitely is inexperienced, but if he has somebody more experienced kind of with him, that could kind of cover a lot of those gaps. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're kind of like on even footing, maybe in different ways. They're obviously very different players, but I would almost put like our mid guys are kind of equal with your bottom guys is kind of what I would say about that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but it's closer than I thought it'd be for sure. Just thinking about it.
I am just going to learn to talk without. I'm gonna have to just unkey my mic when I'm trying to pan my camera around. I just got to fix one more thing, and then we should be good to go. I don't remember if I had this issue before or not. In any case, I am gonna get a freaking new computer probably end of this year, maybe around Cyber Monday when some deals are going on or something. So hopefully, the production value of future podcast episodes can get better once that happens. Okay, I think let me check the stream real quick.
While you have this
All right, we're
downtime, could I? I'm gonna pop out for just 1 second.
Yeah,
just
go
for this
ahead.
downtime.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me restart this film, and then we'll just go through the PT a little bit. So yeah, I mean, there's not much interesting things to say about this game because this is like the one pick that's like super old, like super known. Our trades are almost the same, just you got the 8th Mort and less Thrall.
And less goals, and I sort of do like having more goals. But yeah, it's all standardized. Just
Yeah, it's
play.
not really a
Yeah.
super significant difference between our trades. You really strongly disagree with our 7 Morts, though, huh?
I don't. I mean, I always trade 8, but I don't think it changes anything. It's all going to
Yeah.
come down to what players play better. on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
map.
I totally agree. Like, it's such a minor difference that it's not really going to decide anything one way or the other, yeah. So, okay, well, let's go over everybody.
I'm back.
Okay. So, it's Asmo and Ars FGing. That's interesting. That's an interesting choice. Is that who you like? Yeah. Why no Zur on FG? What happened there?
I think that, in my opinion, it depends on FG map, but any FG map that has ghouls on it, small pus, I feel like it's bad to be aggressive.
Yeah, you didn't want
It,
Zur to be too aggressive. Yeah.
so my whole thing I told the team is on this is like, we're gonna play pass with FG, we're gonna defend our morts. I trust our players on the artillery that we're gonna gain some advantage in the player difference as we go down the roster, instead of just like trying to force some
Yeah.
crazy FG coin flip play to decide the game.
Yeah. That's a really good. That's really good advice. And you guys stuck to that advice. You played it very well, I would say. Yeah, and especially because like you look at the bottom of our roster, like yeah, if I was you, I'd be looking for like, hey, who's matching up with if Spoon was playing or Funk or Killerking, like yeah, like I definitely see like the mistakes in the Mort like this is usually comes down to who can out Mort who, right? And yeah, like I would definitely trust in straight up Mort fights your team over mine in this sense. But yeah. Anyway, are we ready to start
I
this
got
one?
one question for you.
Oh,
I got
okay.
a question for you, GKG.
All right, yeah.
Have you watched these films already?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you been
yeah.
into
Yeah, I
it?
watched them pretty much right after the match. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of know what to point out and stuff. Have you watched the films, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Asmo, did you watch them at all afterwards or no?
I skimmed through them.
Okay, I see. All right, let's start this thing off. 3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
Oh, and I'll point out, Limp had me get the high resolution textures So on the units, so that's a new, got some new pretty. Limp's helping to increase the production value
Flag
already on the
captured.
podcast, right? So.
Flag
Doing what little I
captured.
can, I guess.
Shit.
I guess one thing to point out the viewers aren't aware is this game was replayed because at the very first time we played this map originally, ours ran his FG straight up middle to FG and got slapped down to death because he disconnected.
Did you have
It
to
was
turn? Did you have to control his FG and turn
yeah,
around? Yeah.
I killed this FG. His voice didn't come through until
Flag captured.
after it was getting hit. I moved it back, and he said that his message like way earlier, so he was
Flag
getting Discord
captured.
lag even.
Yeah. I mean,
But no, I was like a nightmare. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the way we're gonna start a finals. Are you serious?
No, I laughed about it. It's good
Flag
fun.
captured.
yeah. Every.
Good,
there-
sport, good sportsmanship
captured.
on you guys to restart.
Flag
Yeah, I'm
captured.
not gonna. It was obvious to me what happened. There was some controversy still in our team about it. Like I don't know.
Like
Everybody
ours
wants
is
to
one of the
claim,
smartest players. He
Yeah,
wouldn't do
it's
that.
like even if ours is the kind of guy that even if he made that fuck up, like he's not gonna fucking
Flag
like,
captured.
fake like just disconnect or whatever over or something.
For sure.
Right? So
Flag captured.
One of the most reliable people who's ever been in the community. So I see.
So we have Kirk in the
Pretty mir-
north, LSO middle,
pretty
me in the
similar-
south.
Yeah, pretty mirrored with the unit sets are and what's pushing where.
We did get a spare big pus. Actually, I think we got two even. I think we got two big
Okay.
pus advantage on this starting
Very
out.
good.
So we got, let's see, Myrk, Sam, and Parrish in the southeast. That's probably where the early fighting is going to happen. Going up against Gekko, Zur, and... Oh, just Gekko and Zur. So yeah, we got a 3v2 here. Yeah. See, I would have liked us to exploit that 3v2 in the southeast somehow. We didn't really end up doing that, but we got Homer middle, Homer and Groove middle against. So you guys have two guys middle against just our one Killerking. So we got the 3v2 in the southeast.
Homer is shifting south right now. I told Homer to go mid and shift wherever he feels was needed.
So we already lost a Mort in the southeast, and who was that? That was Sam, I think. So
I
Sam
think so.
lost a Mort early on, that's already bad because he's one of our better players doesn't even have a Mort besides being down a Mort now. Homer's being real aggressive here in the south. I was calling for help at this point. I felt like we were a little out of position here, but
Northwest is just a standstill for most of this section. A lot of what's going on happens
Yeah.
with Homer. This is where like kind of the game opens up a little bit.
yeah. So our advantage in terms of players 3-2, like we kind of lost it already because now we're down a Mort. So that's I think that's one of the big mistakes we made. I'm chasing down that Zerk just to finish it off, but it kind of baits Homer into trying to take this flag. I think this was a mistake on Homer's part, to be honest.
Yeah,
He got himself in a really bad position. Myrk takes a nasty Mort hit there. Not too big of a deal, but... Okay, Homer did have a small pus. As soon as he spent that small pus, I knew he was dead. My goal autos there, you even see me taunting it, trying to stop it. We really need to talk to fucking Project Magma. That shit drove me crazy all match, the damn autoing. It was crazy. I think I had auto every single game.
There really is an issue with it. I wasn't sure at first, but there's 100% some issue going on.
Yeah, you can even see me.
Autos.
You could even see me auto the goal trying to stop it. Like it was so instantaneous.
That little fight swings it.
Yeah,
but
like
it doesn't
we're
really
kind of
dictate
like
this
a
point. I'd say
slight
that-
lead. We're up like a few Zerks, I guess, or something, right?
So what why does Killerking go north right now? I feel like with that big win you just got south, I feel like the advantage to push for him to push mid, because then
Yeah, dude.
him and Myrk
Yeah.
could double from south and mid together. I think Groove would struggle against that, but instead he was able to just stand off against one player because there was no push there.
I totally agree. This is a miss on Killer King. Like, he's not doing anything. He's totally out of the fight. Like, Homer's
think-
more in the fight than he is. And, yeah, we could have done something with that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, if he had pushed sooner, him and I, and maybe, yeah, like Myrk too, somebody. Let's see, who's that? Sam? Sam's got a Zerk pack coming with me. Like, we could have set up a rush on that middle, for sure. This is like one of those situations where, like, maybe I wasn't shot calling enough, but like, you really just want to have players that can see those moves, and you don't have to call out every little thing. Parrish's taking a nasty hit.
Killerking is pushing now, but now Sam's on the opposite side of the river, so he still doesn't have the double, you know?
Oh, I don't know why Sam took that way either. He should have just gone the narrow way. Oh my god, yeah. So I'm small plus. I'm freaking out at this point. I kind of spent that big plus just to get your FG off of me, pretty much.
Oh, I was scared there. Like, I wanted to go on that so bad, it's like, I'm not going to lose the game. I know I'm not getting a plus, so just trying to get rid of the buff.
Dude, if I had Sam right here with me, man, if his Zerks were right there with my FG, we would have cleaned that up, dude. I'm really, that's so unfortunate. Now, he is linking up with LSO now, at least. Oh, dude. Groove pusses your FG in the back. That was so funny.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. There's like, please help me, please help me.
And then my FG kind of got stuck there a little bit. That was kind of weird. I just noticed it now after the facts. But yeah, your FG came on pus like way quicker than I thought, and then you guys end up kind of basically killing me. So it didn't really work out that well for me. I got a little bit of damage off, but.
So there's good communication from my team here. They talked about the leak of FG into our backfield, and so I had called Mark back to the north flag because I knew you guys were just gonna take a shit ton of flags if we didn't do that on time.
Yep. And then you're gonna see a big blunder here by LSO pretty soon.
He's going for flag 8, it looks like.
Sam's making a good play here. I like this. Although I'm not does he get this flag? You actually could have saved that, Asmo. You could have saved that flag.
Where I'm
Northeast? Oh, did you save it? You did save it.
I don't think
no.
So, no.
Oh. Oh, man, you guys could have saved that, man. All you had to do is back those Thrall up to the far side of the flag. You bought a few more seconds. Oh yeah, LSO just got pussed by a small puss from like max range. I don't even know how Mark knew to throw that at max range. I guess because LSO was standing still long enough.
Was he walking like a straight path or something?
No, LSO literally stood still for about 2 seconds at least. Yeah, and Mark just knew. And dude, I was like, dude, all your small pusses hit for pus. Like, you didn't have a single time it didn't. Like, if Mark had spent that pus and he didn't go off, he would have been screwed. LSO would have killed him completely right there.
So what I'm seeing just now is that small pus kind of decided this game. It was for both FGs. It was small pus.
Yeah. Yeah, every single small pus hit. I didn't see a single small pus not pus anything.
Including our own FG.
Including your own FG, that's right.
Yeah.
Which baited me into dying somehow.
Yeah,
like
the chaos.
Like,
the chaos of it. The chaos of it made it so it was hard to play.
So at this point, we knew the game was basically over. We're down 2 FG. Like, the only way we're getting back in this is if we get some cheesy pusses off of your FG. But you guys, your FG, yeah, playing it passive with the FG is absolutely the way to go on this.
Flag captured.
You do really need your Mort guys to set up the victory on this. So.
Yeah, it's the most consistent way to win the map, I'd say.
Yeah. At least in high level play. Like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, if there's a mismatch in skill, like, of course, like, anything goes. You can pull off some crazier shit, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too happy with Killerking, honestly. Looking back at this now, for this game, like he's just out of the fight the entire game.
Flag captured. Victory imminent.
Yeah, I think the
Not that it's his fault that we lost, because obviously our FGers died. That was the bigger issue there, but. Oh, I forgot to mention. Aliso would want me to mention this. So the reason his FG died, you know, I gotta come in here and defend Aliso a little bit.
The pre-excuse.
Yeah, I gotta give the Aliso's excuse in his absence. I have to give the excuse on his behalf, right? I guess his FG came out of his preset or something, and so like he was screaming about it in the voice chat. He's like, fuck. My FG's out of my preset, so I don't know what happened.
What other units did he have on his preset? He's FG in. It's like 2 units probably.
I don't know. I have no idea how that happens. He because usually like you set your presets once in the beginning and you don't really need to touch them again, and it's like they don't fuck up after that. So I don't know if he was like fucking with them somehow. I don't know, but that's unfortunately like. You know, the in the top bracket finals, Aliso had the blunder with the suiciding Tro, and unfortunately,
30 seconds.
It wasn't a Tro at least this time, but still kind of a similar blunder, again in this match. So
it's all right. Aliso, just learn from her experiences. You can take thrall duty in the future.
Shit.
So with victory imminent, of course, a full retreat just to defend the flag.
Yeah, I was trying to pull off a crazy rush in the northwest. Yeah, we
sudden death.
Was it? It was,
game over.
Yeah, as soon as I walked off the flag, it was over. Yeah, you know, I did lose the. I don't feel like this was a big win for me, honestly. I felt like I lost the FG a little too easily, but it was such an unusual situation. Like your FG got pussed by your own shit. It baited me into fighting it, and then I think I got magic dirted slightly because I saw me trying to move the FG away earlier, and it didn't. It was stuck. So, but I got like decent numbers, but I don't think it really reflects. I don't really consider that I did that well. So.
Yeah, the FGers in the north did nothing. I mean, ours didn't do anything wrong, right? You survived, but 0 damage and 4 damage is sort of weird to see from FG on this map. Pretty funny.
Yeah, LSO with the 0 damage, 9 losses with the FG. It's not looking good.
Yeah, I guess part of like an FG on that map though is like, as you said, you play like the long game and like passive with the FG, so they're just there for like pressure. You know, you only want to take like an assured fight with them generally.
I mean, I do like LSO's decision to go in their backfield and take flags. Like, I think that was the correct move.
Yeah, especially with the being down the FG at that point, you got to like do some stuff to see if you can open anything up.
Yeah, and it's hard to say if he should have made the move on well, he didn't really make a move on Mark. He just stood still and got pussed. But would I have, you know, that aside, would I have tried to kill Mark with LSO's FG? Probably not. It's just, I think it's too risky of a move, right? He obviously has a puss goal there. If he could have linked up, actually Sam's Zerks were kind of close. They ended up going in different directions. I think actually Sam and LSO probably should have stuck together, because if Sam had linked up with LSO, he definitely was going to take that northwest, 100%.
You can definitely play a lot more free with the FG when you know you have melee support.
Yeah,
exactly.
Cover
a little mistake, you know?
Yeah, if you got like a little Zerk pack to cover you up so that you can survive being puss, yeah. I do remember telling my team going into this game, like, hey, if we lose this game, like, don't sweat it because it's going to be such a freaking coin toss. So we weren't like too worried. You know, it was kind of still a shitty way, I don't know if I could say what I did was a big blunder, but definitely LSO's FG was a blunder. That's kind of a shitty way to go out, but it is what it is. Somebody was going to win it. It's very coin tossy, and it's whatever. It's the first game, so we're still fine. Who did? I think I liked what you and ours did with FG Asmo. I think that was well played as far as being passive with them. Um, and I would say the only big blunder on your team was Homer diving in on that south. That was a mistake, obviously.
Yeah, everyone else is pretty solid. That
Yeah,
game.
everybody else was solid. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to the next one. Got some newer maps now coming up. Oh shit! Let's make sure the stream is still good.
Guys, give me just 1 second. My water softener just turned on. It's making a bunch of noise. I'll be right
Go
back.
ahead.
No, like the design there.
Okay, cool. Stream's still good. All right. Yeah. So going into this one, man. Again, I should have said something earlier, but I was slightly irritated about like who makes a map this asymmetrical. It just I was.
There needs to be trees removed for the south side in the future if it's played more.
It just needs to be evened out. If you're gonna make a forest on one half of the map, then it needs to be where it's equally on both sides from the start. It's not one side is all forest and the other is open. That makes no sense. I've actually never seen a map quite like this, to be honest, in that respect.
My strats were different based on start.
You were gonna go
On this map.
no archers, I assume, if you had northeast or what?
No, I did consider that as like my first version of my strat before I did it. I was ended up gonna do the same trade, but instead of doing the archer thrall flank in like the traditional manner, I was gonna sort of float it near midish, and we were gonna scout out yours early, and we
And
were
then
gonna
match
match
up.
up our
Yeah.
our so that we take the advantage of the big archer thralls push from you guys getting to the open space where we'd have to go through trees, and then we just try to hope to set up something to win the melee game away from that. Since the trees affect both teams melee like pretty evenly, that was the idea behind it. If we had your guys to start.
That's a super smart plan, and you're absolutely correct. And we did not think to do that. So yeah, you get the +1 on that one. Yeah, in hindsight, that's exactly what I would do as well. That being said, I don't think that's really what decided this or anything like that. But
No, listen, yours archer thrall push actually did their job, which I was surprised they got to our flag at essentially the same time.
yeah,
Pretty close.
Looking at the trades, it looks like they're identical, I think.
yep.
Probably.
And I think we both knew we were gonna do this exact same trade, like strat and everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
I actually liked how you sent the Zerks middle too. Well, actually, yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. I'm at 0. You guys ready to start?
I am. Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
Yeah, our general strat was, Archer, Thrall, Siege Force on the south side, Zerks on the opposite side. But in hindsight, I think actually what you guys did was better with the Zerks middle, because I ended up running straight into the worst possible part of your force, which was your Archer Thrall force. So
I watched the bottom bracket finals, right? And you had that Zerk pack against no Zerks on the Heroes map. And I knew you were on the Zerk pack. I'm like, I'm not gonna let freaking GKG
yeah.
run free with the Zerk pack, even if we're not matched up opposite side of the map. So
Oh,
I'm not
so
gonna try
you just wanted to like neutralize me, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let you go freaking ham with the Zerk.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, you can't let the Zerk pack just get on an isolated war pack. That's what the wars are like the prey for the Zerks. And if they're isolated by themselves, the Zerks are just gonna eat them up.
One thing I don't like watching me, dude, is the initial start of the game with pathfinding. I get really lazy when I'm captain because I'm just focusing on making sure everyone else is going the right direction. The splits are good, blah blah blah. that I don't get the maximum speed that I should, like the jump start. You know, I need to fix that.
I mean, it's hard. Like you just as captain, you're just doing so much. It's a huge pain in the ass. Yes, we have like let's see how many thrall we put 10. Yeah, we had. This is a prime example. I'm actually surprised how light your thrall is, to be honest. So this to me this is like a prime example of like CTF big map. Usually you want to have more thrall. Now, granted, you seem to have like just a roaming defense with the Zerk squad, so maybe that's why you're okay with less thrall. But
I guess the only thing I'm surprised at what you guys are doing is the war pack in the east. I don't know. Just I'm used to you never sending war packs with the Archer Thrall squad, like the direction they're going.
yeah, in this case, there's just so like normally it would be like all the war packs middle and like zone defense with them, but like always applying pressure. But like in this case, it's just like there's so much. I don't know. I just the way like usually when what you're describing, Asmo, is usually that happens on like a traditional traditional like river through the middle of the map with 3 crossings kind of thing, right? And like this is just so different in that sense.
It is. You're right. Do you guys do bottle plus? That's what these little small gold packs are, right?
I think so. Yes, we did do bottle plus. Yeah, who has? Let's see. Yeah, we have Spoon.
Funk in the northwest.
Yeah, I think we split them. We had Funk in the northwest, Spoon in the southeast. Yeah, I took some arrow hits trying to get around Dantski. So I'm already off. Like I'm hating life right now already. Like I'm like, God damn, this is like the worst spot that I want to be in, basically. I'm like trying to. I knew you were gonna shadow me because I saw you go mid and then I saw you back out. So I was like, okay, Asmo's coming. I ended up flanking a Zerk, trying to just slow down your archers. Ended up being a big mistake because you guys have small plus to defend it and pick it off. So I'm down a Zerk right off the bat. Funk kind of gets a goal. So I dodged one small plus, but not the other, and then I lose that Zerk. That was good. That was good defense there. Who's that? Gekko? Yeah, Gekko. Gekko is a good goal packer. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as I did that, I was like, damn, that was stupid of me. And like, I was like, damn, how did I forget that they're gonna have small pus? I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Look at the small pus battles going on. It's so crazy. The small pus meta is just like, it's like all the fighting right now is small pus meta. Hey, he picks off a big pus with it. Like, holy shit.
Gekko's got really good with it throughout this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty easy. Like, you just need to get as close as possible. You want to point blank shot him with that small pus is basically the key to it. And that's actually something I had to tell my guys. It's like, look, you don't use small pus the same way you use big pus. Like, it has no AoE. It needs to be a direct hit. So you have to be, like, point blank throwing it, basically.
So something happens right now. I see the 3 goals that are flag. I assume it's bottle pus. And Groova has the defense, and he's made with all those thrall. I just don't want to risk losing the game on something fluky, so he ends up detaching all the thrall to mark mid and just focuses on defense.
Okay.
And I detach the Zerk to him too, just like the guarantee that we don't lose something fluky.
Contested.
Looks like Kirk might have just bottle pussed himself in the south.
He did, yep.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Right now.
Flag contested.
Oh, yeah, Zer's even calling it in the chat. I did not see that. Damn, okay. Looks like the bottle plus was not a good idea. We probably shouldn't have done that. It's really risky. Bottle plus it's so hard to do it well and get a good clean shot off. Yeah, now Groove. Yeah, I see Groove handed off his thrall now. I think he backed off those thralls slightly. Kind of slowed you guys down a little bit there, actually.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, here we are. We're trying to push through these damn trees. It's just like a freaking nightmare. I freaking hated this. Now, like this game. In hindsight, I don't think this should be played as another. Okay, I thought I got a decent puss on you there, but then Ars and Zur do a pretty good job saving you from taking more damage. Like,
so you and GKG and Asmo, you both are having like a really important fight here in the mid.
Yeah.
It looks like it's swinging both ways, back and forth.
Yeah.
I plus and kill your guys' dwarfs there too.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that should have never been allowed to happen. I don't know who had that dwarf. I forget who had it.
It was a little bit lazy by the dwarfer. He just stepped ahead of all the thrall.
Yeah, that should have. That was a huge mistake. That should have never been allowed to happen. I was gonna point out
Crazy pussy.
the way you want to use the Zerks on this. You guys did a better job with it. You want the Zerks to be right behind your warriors. Like the warrior, you use the Zerks like Tro basically. So you want the warriors to be kind of eating the damage. And I never really got my Zerks covered up well by our warriors, so I didn't do a great job this game.
Right now the percents are 10% in Death and Taxes' favor.
Okay, now at this point, like we are like, oh shit, we need to get on your flag ASAP.
Flag contested. Flag
Because
contested.
our thrall are a little further behind your thrall. I don't know how that happened. Actually, no, they're about the same. It's
Flag
close.
contested.
It's close, but we're calling for like, hey, we need contest until we're on the flag. As soon as we get on the flag, we call that we're on the flag. And
Yeah,
it wasn't really explicitly said. Oh my god, ours kind of pussed himself worse there, right there.
Yeah.
We didn't explicitly call out for Paris and Sam to back out, but
Huge push by Mark right there.
I thought they knew to back out, and they actually didn't. They committed to the fight, and this turned out to be a huge mistake because Sam and Paris could have saved both of their war packs completely,
Flag captured.
and then just ran away. And
Yeah, man. Them overcommitting to the defense definitely sealed the game for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, totally sealed it up exactly.
Yep.
If they had backed out, I think probably it was going to end in a tie.
Flag lost.
And yeah, that was not the. I'm not sure. Like this is where it gets frustrating for me because it's like wherever I'm not at, especially LSO and I both, and Kirk, like sometimes shit like this happens on our team, unfortunately, where it's just like, apparently I needed to be there to make that call, which I really didn't think was necessary. I think here we kind of made a silly mistake trying to go offensive with these thrall too. We should have just sat on the flag and used the archers to cover up.
5
Didn't really matter,
but-
remaining.
That was the #1 topic of discussion for my team during the flag trade. I asked like 3 different times, like, are you guys good? Do you 100% have the flag? You're not going to push them off. We want to run off. So, you know, I repeated that point over and over to make sure there was no miscommunication with the flag swap. The one mistake we make is coming up. We decided to fight these thrall when it was really not necessary. We should have just waited for our whole army, but
I think it actually turned out okay. Like you probably lost Zerks unnecessarily to it, but you ended up cleaning up the whole thrall pack, so it wasn't terrible, honestly.
we just need to make sure our warriors were closer when the puss hit, because they missed a lot of freeze time of hitting.
Yeah. We thought if your thrall didn't get there in time, maybe we had a chance, but and actually I'll be curious to see on the film how close your thrall were, if they were going to get there in time.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, you did lose some Zerks unnecessarily there, yeah, for sure.
Look at that one Zerk I gave Groove. It's the freaking Drow right now. Apparently,
Yeah.
he's really good with it.
I'm also
like
not
7
sure why
kills.
ours didn't go in with everybody on your team there. I think if ours had committed completely to that fight with the rest of your team, you guys would have actually killed that.
It was a minor mistake. He's actually the one who called the play, and he's the one who threw the plus too. So that's why I was surprised.
And then he
his
backed
warriors-
out. It's like, what?
Yeah, I thought he'd have like the perfect setup, you know, because he's the one who was initiating the play there, actually. But whatever.
Yeah, 10
Minor
kill
mistake.
Zerk, 11 kill. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is great. 11 kills. Zerk is just. I want to see what it gets to. 13.
13, yeah.
Pretty insane.
Oh man, you guys. Well, you had enough thrall, didn't really matter. But yeah, you guys were able to, like, I was surprised you guys were able to kill us before your thrall even got there. I think you had more warriors than I expected. And also, where are our warriors? Oh, oh my god. I didn't
doesn't
realize.
come
I didn't
back.
realize Paris wasn't even trying to come back to our flag. Like, he didn't even try. Wow.
He
Okay.
should have been trying to stall the archers, is my guess. The dwarf, right?
Yeah, but what is he doing right now? Absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah. Nothing,
Like, what is
yeah.
this? He's just taking more damage to Thrall. I don't know what Paris is doing there. It makes absolutely no sense.
No, our warriors are super vetted. I guess that's why they're able to take it without the thrall. Ours has a 3 vet, a 4 vet, so those are like, and another like single vet. Those are really
Mhm.
strong warriors.
Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely got outplayed on this one all around. I mean, in a sense, you guys deserve, like, if we had walked off the flag, probably would have been a tie, but you guys did sufficiently outplay us pretty much everywhere. Even that aside, that probably deserved the win regardless.
Here's your archer fights in 2025. the one few scenario you get an archer on archer fight.
And it's never a clean archer fight. It's just, you know, they get harassed to death and that's
Flag
it.
contested.
I will say, Asmo, I don't think this should be played in future tournaments. Like, this is the one map I'd say, like, no. This is,
Flag
I think it's
contested.
a really bad tournament map. Not just the
One
asymmetry of it, but like, well,
I think
I want to say
the
CTF
start
in
should have
particular. I think CTF on this is gonna end in ties like 9 times out of 10. So that's the other problem with it.
To me, taking a look at it, I would definitely put the starts northwest and southeast, because then both starts share
Flag
like each
lost.
You could do that,
Side.
yeah.
because then like each side has part of the like flatlands and part of the forest, so it makes it a little more balanced.
Yeah. I think even if you do that though, it's like this. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, that would go a long way towards fixing it. You're right. Yeah. Otherwise,
That's Zerk.
what's that?
Nothing important. That Zerk ended with 16 kills.
Oh my God, jeez.
That's amazing.
Wouldn't
That's
that be
amazing.
hilarious, dude? Imagine if like it got stronger past 5 kills. Like, like it would just be like I don't even
Be
know
like-
like how much stronger could it be? Like, would it be
I
like
don't know.
like
It'd
10
be like
attacks?
a Mazerk.
Yeah.
My mind was
Zerk,
actually
yeah.
my mind was actually floating to the point of like, I wonder what the most vetted unit has ever been in an NWC finals. Like 30
Oh,
kill
yeah.
Trow.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we've
I wish we
certainly
had
seen
stuff like
Trow
that.
with like 20 plus kills for sure.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. Yeah, so it's got to be like a Trow killing like something like that at some point, like having this
Yeah.
like a ridiculous game where it was like, you know, Kakra versus Gru or something in 2001. You know, like
Yeah.
that's where the record would probably be at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this played out in a really entertaining fashion for me in the middle of it, just like looking at it, you know, not being on either team. Really similar to how you guys were like thought of the map and like what you guys were doing, but I thought as you were saying, the execution was just a little bit better. I think they were able to outplay your team, but I think it was close. It did swing on a couple moments there in the middle with how the pus was back and forth. I think the game was kind of decided there. I think there definitely was a chance that you guys could have tied it if they had not engaged on the home flag, but I guess, like, you know, it's hard to communicate that in real time to make sure you're not walking off the flag and the game's ending. You know, if you're not paying attention to what's going on the other side of the map very much, like, there's always that confusion. And I think that Asmo stated that, like, they had that same issue of, like, are we staying on, or are we walking off? So
Yeah, so that's the thing, though. I think that's a big difference between Asmo's team and our team is, like, so let's, in this case, Groove, for example, who was on defense for Asmo, and whoever else was on defense, like, there was I think there's like a lot more two-way communication happening. I have no doubt that Asmo's team had way better communication than our team, because there was just never, it was always like this one way, like, I'm doing most of the talking, and and there's just not a whole other talking going on. LSO doing some talking too, but like nobody's like I would have liked to seen Sam and Paris ask the question like, hey, should we walk off? And nobody asked that question. And if I'm not there to watch it ahead of time and think of it ahead of time, then it just gets missed, right? So I thought that question would come up, like if there was confusion about it. Otherwise, I just assumed that they knew to walk off. Like we called it. We called like, hey, we got the flag now. But yeah, so as a little point of frustration, I'm not expecting to have problems like that with this team in 2025, but apparently shit like that can still happen. So I think this game in particular, like, was maybe the best example of your team outplaying us just all around. Everybody on my team basically has pretty shit ratios. Like nobody did good. I almost tied you, I guess, in the stats with the Zerk pack, but like I definitely did worse in the Zerk pack. There's no doubt about it. But this was the cleanest win for you guys. That we should have quote unquote still tied, but didn't. So
I don't feel like I did that good on the Zerk pack, but I mean I also healed the white, so apparently I did a lot of damage.
Oh,
on them.
if you healed the whites, yeah. If you took white damage, then you did significantly better than me. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
probably got like 40 damage normally then.
Yeah,
Without
yeah.
counting that.
No, you definitely outplayed me on the Zerk pack. No doubt about it. I needed to cover up with my warriors better, and we shouldn't have lost the dwarf and all kinds of good stuff, right? So yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one. Oh, looks like Homer had a what did Homer have this game?
He was on the dwarf thrall, and yeah, his dwarf survived the whole game. And
Oh,
He was
gotcha.
14-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a nice 0 loss there. Okay. Yeah, your team played very, very well on that one. That was. I wonder if there's any other pure light maps like that. Oh yeah, there was last game, I guess. So yeah. Your team definitely has a strength on late maps. Here, going into this game, here we go. I was like, okay, finally we get to a Tro game. I definitely thought we had the advantage on the Tro games. And at this point, like, we're kind of like, things are not like super duper dicey, but if we lose this game, they will be super duper dicey. So like we kind of need this win.
Yeah.
No one's reverse sweeping the finals in a best of 7. Like,
Yeah, it's
that'd be
really
insane.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, having to win 4 out of 4.
Well, and I say it too because like it's a Tro map, and so like if we lose, I knew if we lost the Tro maps, we were probably not just because it was 3-0, but also because like we're losing on both the light maps and the Tro maps. We're cooked. Like if we got LSO, Kirk, and I, we should be winning the Tro maps if at the very least. So. Yeah, the big differences in the trades here is you went. Okay, what's with the one soul? I gotta ask. Who wanted that?
That was just part of my trade. So the options were just getting 1 extra spider and having 2 points left over, getting that soul. There are 2 spots on the maps that are
I see.
semi-infinite
Contest,
contest, and so
yeah.
it's like better than 1 spider in my opinion.
Yeah,
in
I
case the
got
game
you.
got crazy.
Yeah, so you guys opt for more Artie, but we do have more souls, so it kind of offsets. We both, yeah, I guess we both had max melee. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that. I thought we would have had a slight melee advantage over you, but I guess not. I should have studied the trades a little bit better, I guess. Basically, like I did these strats like the week before, and then we talked about them, I think, like on the Monday, like a week ago, and then like we didn't really look at them again for the most part until like the day of or something like that. So probably missed some things, but not a big deal really. I think yeah. So we both have max melee, but you opt for the Artie. Our general idea here was we wanted the split souls because again, just going back to like my general principle of like, hey, I know I want to split the Tro here into 2 flanks, then I should have a small soul pack with each one to prevent Tro Artie pushes. I think the danger in your trade is if your thrower on either side ends up at a slight health disadvantage, then our thrower is going to start being able to set up throw arty pushes pretty effectively. And so that's why I think I probably still prefer the souls, but it's a minor difference. I do like that you didn't go for heavy locks at least. I mean, you got the one, I guess, because you wanted to arty fight a little bit with it or whatnot, but
So yeah, so the idea behind my strat, I mean, we're pretty similar thing. We split triumphantly like pretty evenly, I think. So I figured you guys would go souls here. There's a lot of good soul spots on this map. You guys have been favoring the souls on the travel map, and so I told Zer's flank and my flank, those neutral flags on the middle on each side, we are going to push aggressively for those positions because we figure you have souls, and we're going to since we got all these extra morts that you guys didn't. I figured you'd only have two, like one that support each flank. We're going to camp our morts on those positions with the flag advantage, and we're going to play for the late game. And the reason for the lock on the east side is because there's this big mountain on the east side of the flag that could be really good for souls if we didn't get a lock. They could like get up there, the morts can reach them, so it's like, okay, we need that one lock to make sure that
Zone out
your
the
souls
souls.
Can't dominate from that position.
Yeah. That's very well thought out. I like that plan a lot. Yeah, that's excellent thinking right there. And yeah, that's exactly what you guys did. So,
I
yeah.
think their setup on this one was really great, but there's just a couple key plays that happened.
Well, yeah, and the bottom line is I do think our team is stronger on tro maps. So we should, despite, Asmo might have a super solid plan, but I'm still trusting our team to win the damn tro fights and stuff like that. So not to say like if we both these teams are really good. So if you fuck up, we always have to bring our A game regardless. Otherwise you definitely can still drop games. But that's just as true for them on the light maps too, right? So, all right, you guys ready to start this one?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
So yeah, it's LSO and I on showing, Asmo and Zur on show.
I think I like your guys' splits right here for your distributions. I think you got the ideal players on the ideal unit sets.
Yeah, we got Spoon and Killerking on souls.
I will say I'm curious how it would go to split a 3-1 trout to each, like
captured.
3 trout to one side and one
Flag
to the other, and doing
captured.
like a bunch of souls with the one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Flag
That's
captured.
that's actually a really good point, Limp. I actually wish I thought of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty effective split.
That
for
would have
sure.
been very effective, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'd just be really easy to kite. The space is so small. The souls are so effective.
That gives you
A
one
couple
side
more of
to
them.
be pretty confidently your push side, and the other
captured.
side your hold side. I mean,
Yeah, this is kind of a mirror strat a little bit right here.
Flag captured.
yeah, if we had done that, Asmo would have had to find a way to. The danger of doing that strat is that they just convert. The way to defend it and counter is to just converge on the 3 tro
Flag
side and
captured.
ignore the side with the souls. Honestly, right? You don't want to be pushing into the souls.
Yep.
So
Flag
yeah,
captured.
it's Asmo probably. I mean, it's hard to say. I definitely like it, but it's like, are they gonna be smart enough to figure out how to adjust? Yeah, that's the open question for sure.
And it's still, it just feels like, it'd be an interesting look. Who knows how it would play? This is
Flag.
probably
I
the
think you
first
could
time
almost-
Snap would play it, but I
You
like it.
honestly almost could go almost 0 souls if you have to find a really strong soul hill. But if you could back up all the way to that castle, you know what I mean? Like if you bait them in all the way to that castle, and you end up able to get into a good hold position there, you could actually maybe send all 4 of your tro, like maybe you send the 2 tro on the normal side, but then they shift over to the other side, right? They look for that breakaway. If they get that breakaway effect and then they're able to double up, that would be very effective. Yeah.
So over here on the east side, I think there's a lot happening right now. There's a bunch of pushing that's happening from Death and Taxes, so they can acquire this hill like Asmo was
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
They've
and
done
you
the
guys
same
got
thing
both
on
hills.
the west side.
Yeah, you guys got both hills real cleanly. I'm not sure if that's just because we didn't zero in on them as aggressively as you. I guess probably. Yeah, that's probably what it is. At this point, I'm trying to set up a surround on the west. I do like our position to set up a surround on the west. I think
Right now,
I think Zer's getting a little out of position. Yeah,
I want to say that right now, the East, I think, is kind of like should still be trying to bait that all this stuff with LSO's army like back into the hill more instead of trying to fight them over this water, because it just gave them the over the hill advantage that they're fighting into now.
I think Zur and Mark in the west are getting out of position, and then that's why I really liked setting up the pinch here. I think we're about to go in actually. Why is Myrk backing out? I was calling for a rush, and Myrk was like running further away. That's a real issue.
Flag contested.
Yeah, if Myrk was there a little bit sooner, because you see how far out Mark is. That's why I called this rush right here, and I think it was the right call. Mark is way out of position there. Like Myrk actually got a little too far out of position
Flag
too.
lost.
So here I like our rush
Contested.
here. I get the clean kill on the Mort. There's
Flag
one more left,
contested.
but I like our engagement here. This is a good insertion for us. The Morts didn't really get much damage.
Flag
Zur here, his Tro's exposed. That Tro
He's
should have
he's
fucking died.
moonwalking.
But
Flag
that
lost.
Tro, I end up fucking up right here. These damn spiders, I could not figure out. I could not see where the fuck they were.
Flag
And like,
contested.
yeah, I fucked up right there. Zur should have fucking died a lot
Flag
cleaner than that.
captured.
So we end up.
Yeah, both Trows kind of like moonwalked a bit. For sure.
Yeah.
That
Big
for
play
one
coming
for
up
each of
in
you.
the west right now.
Oh yeah, ours is Mort. Yeah. Yeah, you guys were kind of up until that happened.
So I completely shifted there. Shift.
Yeah, Mark
It is.
stood right in his way. Yep.
So
I'm
That's swung that pretty big.
I'm super frustrated with how I play this because I was communicating with them, asking how West was going. They're like, "Oh, we
Flag
were winning like pretty
contested.
significantly." I hit S7, I saw we were up
Flag
10%. So I was like, "Okay, I don't need to play the east
Flag
side aggressively.
lost.
We're just gonna win through the west." But then the Mort suicide happened, and I still played way too passively east, which was so stupid of me. I need to realize that, okay, I need to get aggressive because things aren't.
I don't think the
Clear
aggression
winning
was going to
anymore.
help you, Asmo. Like, it's pretty
No,
much
but-
you guys are stalemated still in this.
No,
in this
you'll
season.
see though. It also ends up pushing me around with less
Oh,
artillery.
I see.
Like,
I see.
Pretty
I
bad
see.
in the near future.
Yeah, LSO probably had his best game this game. He ends up cleaning up. Like the west side for us was kind of a tie. You guys had more of an advantage after before that Mort suicided, but
Yeah,
I
like
definitely
here-
I fucked up the damn throwing for sure. Zur was at a huge disadvantage in the beginning of that fight.
My positioning's bad right now. I'm letting
You guys are letting Sam's Mort push up there.
Yeah, I need to be in Elsa's
Contested.
face and trying to push back you guys. Because look how far back the
Flag
souls are. They're not in
contested.
position to support right
Mhm.
now.
Yep. Yeah, this has been a problem I've noticed with Killerking
Flag
souling.
lost.
He's already, I can tell, he's using the souls improperly.
Flag
He's out of
contested.
position. He should be over by where the Mort is. And basically
Flag
trying to
lost.
help LSO push by zoning your
Flag
Tro out.
contested.
And he's sitting here trying to arty fight the lock, which is literally the worst thing that he should be trying to match up against.
Yeah, I don't like my
Flag
play right here. I
lost.
feel like I lost my team the game.
He is throwing at the melee now, which is good. Ooh, almost got that Mort.
Yeah, so the
Oh,
lock
he might
and
pick
Mort
off
are
the
both
Mort.
red, so they
Souls
have to be
might pick
really,
it off.
really careful
Captured.
now too.
Yeah.
Flag lost.
Well, the lock is yellow too,
Flag
actually.
contested.
Maybe
Yeah,
Killer
so
King has
both are
actually
really have to
been
be very
whittling
careful.
down the arty, but in general, I don't like souls trying to arty fight
Flag
um,
captured.
stuff like that.
Flag lost. Flag contested.
Oh, Sam's Mort goes down. So you guys are up. So I guess Alyssa's
Flag
going to call a rush
captured.
here. I assume is what happens. Oh, that's Paris there.
We're sort of up, but you guys did get some decent play
Flag
shots there.
lost.
So the rush is
Five.
going
On
to
the
really
melee,
take it
yeah,
for
you got some
Yeah.
damage to Zerks, yeah.
Flag.
Yeah,
Like the
they-
Mort's going to have to get a really good shot for us to be able to turn this fight. Because you have way more
And
melee.
Groove needed to be helping you guys. I think.
Oh,
That's just like,
I can't
sure,
believe.
yeah.
Oh, that was a decent shot. Decent shot there. Man, I don't like how.
Contested.
I actually don't like what.
Flag
Oh, your
lost.
Tro didn't cover up though. Oh shit.
And yeah, but they don't really get
You got
damaged.
two
They
good. You
blow
got two
pretty
good mort shots there. Oh, you're being way too. Yeah, Asmo. Yeah, you need to be kicking more there. Yeah.
My play there was poor.
I actually didn't. I didn't love LSO's rush there either that much. They took way. Like, you'd see how little more damage we took on the west. That's a proper
lost.
rush. Like this east side took
Flag
too much more damage, I
contested.
would say.
Flag
Yeah, both
contested.
Trower are like only a couple kills.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, so you're just giving up. At this
Flag captured.
point. Yeah, that defense kind of fell apart. That was a little weird to me. I'm surprised you guys lost that east that badly.
Yeah, did not play well. I didn't play well. It was just badly
Flag
coordinated between
lost.
all our players over there, to be honest. But it should have been on me.
Flag
I played the
lost.
worst of everyone there.
I
Flag
didn't
captured.
love how LSO broke off from your Tro. But like usually when I'm rushing a mort like
In the
that,
main fight, right?
yeah, like usually
Yeah.
he
should've just
should have been
committed.
closing the distance with your mort and trying to
Flag
block it. That's what
lost.
I'm always trying to do with my Tro is
Flag
like block
contested.
the
Flag
shot
contested.
for the mort until it dies
Flag
with my Tro.
captured.
So
Flag
he kind of like
lost.
actually bailed off of the mort, and then the mort got another decent hit off.
Yeah, I think you should have just committed and ignored the
Yeah.
lock at that point. The lock wasn't
Yeah,
going to do
the
anything.
lock never matters. You can always just block it with anything.
Flag lost.
So Zur probably did the best for you guys, although I don't think he didn't really do a great engagement either. He kind of I fucked up basically. I should have finished it. The mistake I made there was I was trying to not get surrounded by the spiders, but I was already stuck, and at that point I should have just committed all into finishing his Tro. So he kind of got away with murder a little bit there.
Is that Sam on Mortar in the
Yes.
East?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a great game. I'd say
He did.
one of-
He did. He ended up dying at the end there, but yeah, he
He pushed around like 3 artillery
Yeah.
pieces. When he
yeah,
did
you're
really
right.
strong.
Yeah.
And he had
He
high
wa-
damage on the team with it too. So I'd say he did awesome.
Yeah, I think LSO and Sam's combo in the East was the difference in that game.
Yeah. The West in the end ended up being basically you guys
It was
had
kind
a
of a
melee
stalemate.
advantage. It was a stalemate kind of. But I was calling for, if that East fight didn't finish, what I was calling for next was like, give me 3 or 4 melee, and I'm gonna run down that whole melee pack in the Southwest. So I just needed a few melee to cover up my Tro before I killed him to get clean kills.
This is the one game, the whole match, where, man, I have regrets about. Like, big time. It's like, yeah, I feel like I dropped the game for my team. That freaking sucks.
Yeah, I feel like you just, as you said, there was no synergy over in the East, and it looked that way. Everyone was doing the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, generally 3-on-1 artillery advantage with everything else all being mostly the same. I guess there were the Force Solus too, but even still, it just seems like with the hills and everything, you guys had an advantage. But yeah, it was. I think you're right. You said it yourself that you weren't happy with your trowing, and I think you're right. The aggression would have been beneficial for sure.
You're carrying over that passive FGing from game 1 into game 3.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Game over.
Going into, what is this, game 4 we got coming up? This is the strat I was least confident in going into the series, which is weird because the trade's so freaking obvious on it, but I just was most questioning where I was sending units more so than any other map from the
Yeah.
game series.
Yeah, this one was pretty complicated. We went back and forth about the Breanor versus Brigands. Neither one is a great option in my opinion, and I think that the game kind of shows that. But actually, originally I went Brigands, and the thing that ultimately swayed me on Brigands initially was I literally just didn't want a player dedicated to microing Breanor. I wanted more micro on the dwarfs. I think that's the biggest argument for doing Brigands over Breanor, is just the literal micro that you're. People need to think about that more when they're deciding these squads and trades in a certain sense. Like, just the cost in dedicating a player to doing that role is sometimes not worth the cost, right? Sometimes it's literally just they're better spent on having more micro on the arty. So I think that's the best argument in favor of Brigands. I ultimately changed my mind and went to Braenor because there is ways for Braenor, if you get a pack of 6 Braenor, and they can catch a dwarf kind of without support, like if there's like a lone dwarf squad that has it's just like a single dwarf with a little bit of melee and there's no support with it, the 6 Braenor should be able to kill the dwarf. Which is just not true of Brigands. Brigands, again, it's just like if you don't want the micro spent on the Braenor, or you just want more units available to like throw on flags or whatever, like that's the only reason to do them. Brigands are not going to like kill anything, right? So Braenor at least have a chance of killing something.
I think King of the Map, the speed, right? Like maybe it was flag rallied, then the Briggs, you can consider a little bit more stronger defense somewhere. But yeah, just the speed for King of the Map, pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a good
it's such
point
a
too.
huge map. It definitely helps to have some faster
Yeah,
units.
the movement
I really
speed,
do.
yeah.
I really do like these unit sets. I think they're really interesting how the interplay is with everything. It does really seem to favor the Pathfinders, which we don't see often either. You have the General. I noticed you guys traded almost exactly the same, with the difference of what, like, I think the 2 Briggs versus the 4 Ghasts was like the only difference. So, just extra points at the end of it. Otherwise, the trades were identical. So I think you guys were in a similar place with the unit trades, with what you were thinking.
Yeah, we had same ideas of where the important position was on the map, right? We both committed heavy to west, and we had an east that was sort of smaller. And I think the obvious thing there is those 2 flags north, the one north, the one south of that very west flag's very closer than that east side. So the flag's more compact. The flag mid, you can get there from west easier. East, there's a big old cliff, so it makes just a lot of sense to play the west side. Surprisingly, the one thing I struggled the most on this map with deciding what to do was the archers, which is so weird because you look at it and you think, oh, it's going to be a pretty weak unit relative to all the other units on the map. But I kept on going back and forth between west and east, and I eventually decided on east because I thought, oh, the general's on the west. The general's just gonna get set up and explode them. The archers won't be able to get their effectiveness, and that to me it ended up being the biggest weakness with how I play this map in terms of splits and directions and all that.
Yeah,
the archers seem like they definitely fit on the west side.
Yeah, I still like that we put the archers on the west as well. It's wide open. I think they're the best kind of zone defense for the general. The general is actually a fairly vulnerable unit, I think, on this, and you have to be careful.
It's really the only place for the archers to go to. If you kind of take a look at the east now, looking at
there's
now
too many
that
trees.
Ridge,
the
trees and like the ridges.
There's not enough
really
terrain
easy
for them to even line up a whole 8 archer line, right? Like it's just too hard for
so
them to hit anything.
They just naturally seem to fit over there. So
it's too easy to stick a dwarf behind the tree and just hold off the entire archer line. They can't do shit, right? So.
But you guys want to start this one up?
I was just gonna describe our strat. So yeah, we wanted to do the strong push in the west as well, and then we did do a 3-prong. Like I thought it was important to have at least one guy middle, to again keep the backfield clear and apply some pressure on the middle flag, and it gives you some flexibility. The middle does have access to both east and west, so it's not like they're out of the fight. And yeah, like lighter east as well. We did another difference that we ended up doing from you guys is putting a Braenor squad on the east. In hindsight, I think I might change that, or I don't know. I'd have to maybe see what Sam was our Braenor on the east side. I have to see what he did. Maybe the correct thing was just maybe he needed to make some different decisions positioning wise, because. Maybe he could have just gone to middle or something like that. He said he couldn't do anything on that side. So,
Go ahead, sorry.
So yeah, like I'm not sure. Like I think either that's one thing I'm not sure about what that East Braenor pack should have done. Like was it okay going in the east? But like the moment it saw the archers, it needed to adjust because like the archers weren't there, then maybe they would have been more effective. I don't know, but yeah.
That's funny because my Breonner guys in the west have the same complaint. They can't do anything.
Against the
And
archers, yeah.
yeah, and my idea in hindsight was like, yeah, maybe I should have sent one of those packs mid just to run by mid and harass those back flags.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's a lot of crossings mid that you really can't cover them all, and the movement speed of the Breonner, it would be really easy to leak them through middle. I think, yeah. I think that's probably what I would do too. Yeah. Maybe even both of them, to be honest. Maybe both packs need to go mid to start with. Yeah.
I think so, maybe.
Then they would get maximum because what I think the what you really want to do with the Breonner is keep them moving around and just probably backfield harassment. Honestly, is like the best thing for them, right? So yeah. All right, I'm ready to start it. You guys ready?
Yep.
Limp, you there?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
And yeah, I agree with you that something mid, you need to set something mid. It's important, or else you can just lose the full back flags. So,
Yeah, I noticed. Didn't you guys have nothing mid?
no, I went mid, so I was actually dual packing. I was doing a dual pack on the west, and I had a small force in the mid.
Okay. Did you?
You're-
We'll have to see what happens because my understanding, I didn't see exactly what happened, but we had Paris middle, and it sounded like he just kept pushing forward and like there was nothing to hold him. So
No, he, in my opinion, misplayed it big time because he had a Pathfinder with his pack. I just had like a few melee. Like he should have been aggressively pushing our backfield, but I sort of like
Flag captured.
faked him out and made him do nothing when he had a big unit set compared to me.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it actually gave our team advantage, even though it didn't
Flag
matter at all.
captured.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay, yeah, I'll have to see that.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
And I want to note that we have Dantski versus Kirk on the gen like pretty epic gen fighting gonna be happening this game, I think.
Yeah, I didn't realize Kirk was good at general, but he had a strong game.
Flag captured.
He has a really clutch
Flag
play. I'm
captured.
hoping I can catch it when it
Flag
happens.
captured.
It didn't like matter too much, but like it was just really cool to see. It's like this is funny. All right, so yeah, we got Paris. What you had 2 Stigs there? Yeah.
And then I thought I brought more.
already
no.
Flag
Paris is
captured.
backing up unnecessarily already. What's going on there? Why is he running away?
That's what I'm saying. He did that force. He could have just pushed through in our backfield, and then we would have had to adjust to it.
Okay, it looks like he wanted to send a couple melee back. Okay, that's
Flag captured.
fine, I think, but he didn't need to
Yeah.
send everything back.
Flag captured.
We were having a hell of a time trying to push in the west too. Like this west fight was
Flag
like,
contested.
damn. I guess everywhere was kind of rough.
Yeah. I mean, that West is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So
Paris
many
is not
units
pushing.
up
You're
there.
right. Like he could have pushed much, like right away, just right off the bat.
Flag contested.
Yeah, my dwarf was like having to deal with Breonner harassment. I think I did end up killing most of one Breonner squad with my dwarfs. It's really hard for the Breonners to fight the dwarfs. What was that, Gekko? Yeah, Gekko. Gekko and Homer on dwarfs. Here we go. Donski's gonna tee up.
Flag captured.
Ooh.
Flag lost.
Two
Dude, I
two
did not-
good
I did
hits.
not-
That dwarf didn't die.
I know. I did not realize that the Pathfinders can take more than one dwarf shot. They have more health than a normal dwarf.
Oh yeah, I think of Pathfinders like dwarf heroes that can dud and faster movement speed. Basically, they got the range and health of dwarf heroes.
Flag lost.
I don't know what Funk is doing with that goal pack. Like, I feel like he should be trying to wrap around something.
I think Pathfinders can't dud. I think they are only dudding some this game because of the snow. But-
Yeah, it's hard to say how they might have been modified, customized on this map. Yeah, Paris is still middle. What is going on? He's not going up the stairs. He still hasn't really. He's trying to join the fight with us middle, but he's going to be joining it from this steep downhill. That's a
And we have dwarfs right there.
and
too.
he's double.
Capture.
Now he's doubling back.
Yeah, he gets.
I didn't
super
realize
quick.
how late he was to getting in your backfield. Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, he could have made a big difference this game. I mean, it ended up not mattering, but like it could have, you know.
Yeah.
Lost. Flag contested.
Yeah,
Flag
Kirk's
I
getting
was-
good shots.
Also against Myrk. Okay, yeah, Kirk's going. Yeah, Kirk did really.
Flag
Dantski and Kirk both really solid. See that? Yeah, okay, there was a dud, but you're saying it's because of the snow? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I guess I do see a tiny little bit of snow. Yeah, my plan was to try and get control of these pillars on the west side. You can see me trying to do that a little bit here.
I really should have told Mark to push that east side, like using the path, not directly down towards that flag.
Yeah,
where
stay on the
it
high
was, like,
ground. Yeah.
path. Yeah, I sort of disappointed I didn't.
Yeah.
communicate that.
It's little stuff like that. You're expecting your players to understand how to do that, and
Flag lost.
Kirk gets a nice shot on Dantski. Yeah, I agree with you. I would have expected him to know to do that.
You usually would too, so I'm surprised. But I feel like you have a really strong game here
Flag
because like
contested.
we had that
Flag
position on the west
captured.
flag, and your push sort of makes everything fall
Yeah.
back. I feel
Yep.
like that's a big difference in the game.
Yeah, I agree. That was key.
Flag contested.
I mean, it's not like I made a great play. Like, it was the play that anybody should have made in that position because, like, I have two dwarfs going against Breanor.
Flag captured.
So yeah, we end up. Yeah, we were down for sure. Like, we needed control of that west flag. Like, it was not looking great. And then I think us kind of solidifying our position, the west, is kind of what seals the
Flag
deal for us
lost.
finally for this game. And then finally, we got Parrish in the backfield. What was it? 14-minute game?
No,
Flag
12.
contested.
So it took him 6
12.
minutes. or-
Okay, so it
or
took him
like-
half the game to get in the
like,
backfield. 6
flag
minutes. That's way too
contested.
slow.
Flag
Loses 2 stigs
captured.
to a pus right there.
Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag captured. Flag contested.
Dantski gets a good hit.
Flag
Ooh,
contested.
Kirk. Some good genning by both Dantski and Kirk here in this game.
Yeah, very accurate.
Yeah.
Flag contested.
Gosh, your gold pack was so annoying this game. I was trying to break open the game with flags so I had a gold
Flag.
pack, but
Oh, he's on the east now. He was on the west like a few minutes ago. Okay.
yeah, he would just.
That's probably the right call. He wasn't
Yeah.
doing shit in the west, so.
Yeah, it was. I would have got a lot of flag time if
Flag
he didn't shadow me.
Flag captured.
Okay, I think the clutch play by Kirk is going to come up in the next minute or two. Do you know what I'm talking about, Asmo?
Flag contested.
No, I don't.
Flag contested. Flag
Okay,
lost.
here.
use the
Keep an eye on
reflection
Kirk.
shield.
Right there. Did you see that?
5 minutes remaining.
Dude, I was like,
Flag
holy
contested.
shit, dude, that was so
Flag
fucking cool.
Flag
Limp, did you see
lost.
that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Flag
Yeah, I
contested.
fucking love that shit. I was like, damn, that was so clutch.
Flag captured.
I guess his dwarf would have survived the hit, but I think an archer was definitely would have died.
Flag lost.
We had some extra. Did you get 2 J-Man, Asmo?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Yeah, we had some extra heals. We actually told our East J-Man to heal all the whites because we wanted extra heals on the west side.
So that tree on the west side, it was actually supposed to drop a root and fire arrow every 2 minutes, but I noticed that it didn't work that way. Not
Flag
during the game, like way
captured.
before, and I wasn't gonna make another version just for the little nuance.
Yeah. Oh, great hit by Dantski. Man,
Yeah,
can he
that's a
finish that
great
dwarf?
general fight.
Oh, he did finish that dwarf.
Oh,
Oh, they finished
killed
each other.
other.
Damn.
Flag
I feel like
lost.
that's pretty fitting for how
Flag
good these
captured.
general play has been this game. That they
Yeah,
both kill each other.
Dantski and Kirk are
perfect.
absolutely
Contested.
top tier with Gen,
Flag
especially this game.
captured.
Like, the only,
Flag
the
lost.
other 2 big Jenners that you
contested.
think of is like Genghis and
Flag
Adren.
captured.
They're both excellent as well.
Flag
but damn,
lost.
this is some great Jenning going on. It's really hard to find Jenning like this. This might be the best fucking Jenning in a freaking tournament match between 2 teams.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, that push west was the difference, you know? It really
was.
created the position difference across the whole map.
Flag captured.
I think also just
Flag
having
lost.
like, their mid was able to just
Flag.
really
The
get
mid
back.
too. I think you really needed something mid, Asmo. Like
Yeah.
Pears could have punished that way harder.
Flag
You know what I mean?
captured.
Like
Flag lost.
I was calling for Myrk to push
Flag
with me in the west here. I wanted to get a good push on Zer, but then I didn't see Dantski's dwarf covering it pretty well. God damn that range too. So yeah, Myrk's
Flag
probably pissed at me
lost.
for calling a push. That
Flag
ended up getting him hit so much.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
I made very ample use of the heals for my dwarfs. I think I used like 4 heals on this. Kept my
Yeah,
dwarfs alive.
It's actually really important on this map that since
Yeah.
the Pathfinders can take 2
Contested.
hits, having all those heals.
Flag captured.
So right now you guys are up about looks like 13%.
Yeah, the game is almost done at this
Flag
point. Yeah.
lost.
Exactly. I mean,
Flag
it'd be
contested.
really hard. They'd have to have
Flag
miraculous
captured.
push, grab a bunch of flags that they just can't grab. So yeah, at this point
Flag
it is pretty
contested.
much.
Flag lost. Flag contested.
Damn.
Flag
Yeah, great.
contested.
I love the genning here by Kirk.
Flag captured. Flag
The highlight of
I
this
did-
game.
I did take
Flag
the gold pack
contested.
on the west with
Flag
the
lost.
intention of it not staying west to pull it back mid if needed, but I just wanted to help him get set up on that west flag. But once Paris became so passive, I sort of changed. Okay, I'm not going to use it defensively. I'm going to try to get in the backfill and stuff. So that's why we
Flag
didn't really
lost.
have anything mid.
Flag contested.
There was the push.
Flag captured.
I miscommented.
Flag
The push that
contested.
called from Myrk just happened.
Flag
Lost 3 of his
lost.
4 Brainor in it.
On the west.
Yeah. Dantski helped defend it very well.
Percents are evening up a little bit. It's only 6% now.
Flag contested.
Tie
Mark's
game
good.
flags.
Mark's doing the right thing right now. I wish he would have done this literally like 5 minutes ago, though. Trying to get aggressive with that dwarf on the east.
He's still in the same spot. He's not in that wider road.
You're right. He's at least pushing towards the flag, but he should still take the road wider and honestly just push into your backfield.
I agree.
One minute
Yeah,
remaining.
I would have done the same thing. That's basically. I don't know why people don't think to do that. That's what I thought to do on the west
Flag
side.
lost.
You guys, your west side made a bit of a mistake. You should have had a Dwarfer
Yep.
defending those pillars.
For sure.
Yeah.
You're right.
You had 3 guys over there. Not a single one of them took that position.
Flag
Yeah, but as
lost.
soon as they saw you,
Flag
like trying to make
lost.
plays there, one of the Pathfinders
Flag
needed to cover that fight.
contested.
So that's a bit of a miss by Zer and I think Ars. I think it was your other Dwarfer. Dantski's
30
not
seconds
expected to take that
remaining.
position because he's the general.
Flag
So.
captured. Flag contested.
Oh, nice spoon picked off Zer's dwarf there at the end. Not that it matters, but. Oh, Kirk did finish the general. Oh, Dantski's general went down.
Flag
Okay.
lost.
Damn, nice shot by Kirk. Had a fucking just phenomenal game. Holy
Flag
shit.
contested.
Damn. That was.
Flag contested.
The genning on that game, honestly, freaking highlight, dude. Seriously, like
Yeah,
that
that
was
was top
such a
notch.
fucking highlight reel right there. Like, I honestly think the
All the
best
direct
genning,
hits.
best genning in any game for MWC match ever. I think.
But yeah, Kirk dominated that game. Samuel did really well in the east, and so did LSO, holding that the entire time against those archers. But yeah, the gen play was definitely the highlight of that game. I think that Men in Tights just had a little bit stronger of a strategy with the distribution and having that force middle that was able to slip through, although it took a long time to get there, mattered quite a lot. But yeah, just having all the archers on that flat ground and being able to push off and claim it, I think turned the game in your favor for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Dantski did phenomenally with the Gen 2, but I mean, it looks like even Kirk edged him out in the end. Like, damn,
Yeah, Kirk
just
had a
fucking
huge game here.
that might have been his best game in the match or the tournament.
Yeah,
even.
this,
That was
this
fucking
was a big
amazing.
win too, evening up the match and making it a
Yeah.
series at this
Forgot about
point.
that. Yep. Yeah, it's evened up, but we're feeling good because the momentum's kind of on our side, right? So it's always nice when you tie it up, and plus you got the momentum on your side. So, damn, that was a freaking. I just can't get over. That was such good genning. You don't see genning like that. Like it's. I don't know if people realize how difficult it is. There was actually discussion about who should gen for our team. It was kind of like a toss-up between Kirk and I was just like, I never really consider myself a genner, you know, like I can do it, but it's like this like kind of niche specialist role that you have to really like take the time to practice with it, right? And I usually just don't care enough to. It's not. I mean, I'm a melee guy, right? Like, talk about like you talk to me about like throwing arty shots from half a mile away. That it just doesn't what's a fucking doesn't float my boat, whatever, right? Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. So I normally don't have the motivation to do it. So we absolutely made the right call putting Kirk on that fucking general. There's no way I would have put in that kind of performance there. So that was great.
Harris ended up with the game high kills when he was in the backfield. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, once he got on the backfield, he was definitely effective.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that he kind of made a mistake there, because my impression after the game was that, oh shit, his play taking their backfield like won us the game or whatever. But it was like, actually he was like about 3.5 minutes too slow in doing that. Like he took 6 minutes. That should have taken about 2.5, 3 at the very most. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, I feel like as soon as he went mid with a Pathfinder and he saw there was no Pathfinder covering him, he should have instantly pushed.
Yeah, that's what I would have done in his role. Like I always keep going forward if I'm middle, especially middle, because like the nice thing about middle is you can be confident when you take middle right away that nobody on their team on anywhere else on the map is going to be ahead of you. Like, you have the shortest path to on the map. Like, everybody else that's flanking is going to take longer. So when I'm, especially when I'm middle, that's why we talk about gut checks middle all the time, right? You don't talk about gut checks on the far flank or something like that. It's always about gut checks middle, because like if you can establish that control middle, you can like start. That's where you get the point where like you start forcing them to react to you. Like, that's where like you force them to get in that Raziel mindset where like, oh shit, now we got to like make a big sweeping adjustment to our strategy and like force one of our guys on the flanks to go back. And so I think that's where there was a bit of a mistake probably in what you did there, Asmo, on this one. You mentioned the archers too and stuff, but I think the no middle maybe more than anything was because if you had a middle, like how much time do you think Paris got? Like, we won by 10 minutes. Cut that in half, that's about 5 minutes of flag time. So if you had a middle, you might have prevented 5 minutes of flag time. This game would have been super close if you had a middle. Just that one change, I think. Super duper close.
Yeah, I feel like that's my weakest
Seems likely.
strategy for sure.
Damn, Kirk. Great fucking game. That was fun to watch. All right, next one.
I felt like Alpine and Trespass, this one coming up, were going to be our weakest maps coming into it.
Yeah, I knew Trespass was going to be a good one for us. Like, I just feel whenever I can get like, oh, there's 3 or 4 power arty units that I can give to our best guys to match up one-on-one against your best guys. Like, I always feel good about that dynamic. That helps us, so we can kind of hide our weaker players in those fights and avoid our disadvantages there. So I thought this was going to be a very strong game for us as well. There was a couple things here I didn't like what you did too. I mean, I think you already kind of talked about it. I think you're already aware of them. So what would you do differently now with the trade, Asmo? Would you do anything different?
The trade, I know you guys, you're going to have a different opinion. The trade, no. I actually think the souls are really strong relative to the thrall lead on this.
Okay.
To me is the idea. The split was absolutely horrible. I actually never knew before this game that a decision with so few units could be so impactful. I wanted to treat it like Barons with the goals flanking the backfield, creating pressure, creating distractions, but it was just a stupid freaking Miss on me, like Merms absolutely murder goals that don't have support, and they made all our pus do like absolutely nothing, just a few Merms. I would definitely not have done that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was exactly what I was gonna call out. Like, you can't treat it like Barons because Barons only has warriors. Like, if there was Zerks or Merms on Barons, you wouldn't do that with the goals, right? Like, that's the reason you can't put them in the backfield because they just get tagged and run down. And then the other problem is you got Homer, like one of your players, fully dedicated to just doing that and ends up doing
We
nothing.
got 2 because I'm on it too.
Oh, okay. So you're damn. So you're out of the fight. Why did you give yourself that role? I would have not given you.
I
would not
regret
given-
it.
Yeah,
I
you should have
regret it
taken a
every way
lock,
possible.
dude. Oh my god.
I wanted Doors, to be honest. I was
Or
pretty
dwarf.
confident.
Or dwarf. Yeah.
I was confident on the Doors blocking like every lock shot. I messed up. To be
Yeah.
honest, it's just bad. I don't
We
know
had
what else
to
to
we
say.
had to practice the dwarf blocking a little bit and a lot. It is a little tricky. Like you do, I think you do need to practice it a little bit just to get the feel for the exact timing and range of everything. But otherwise, it can block lock shots pretty reliably. Yeah. Okay, you guys ready to start this one?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
So you like the souls on this? I agree with you that the Thrall lead are pretty weak. I agree with that. I just think you need some to give a little bit of, like, just to prevent your shit from getting rushed down so easily. Like, just a little bit of meat. The souls, at the end of the day, like, I just don't... I never like fighting souls against locks unless they are on a fucking soul hill. Because they're at a range disadvantage, and the locks are going to eventually pick those souls off.
So, I mean, yeah, normally I agree with it. The reason I went down this route is because I just thought the Doors are so effective at blocking lock shots that I felt like the souls could just link up with the Doors and get a lot of damage. And also, there's a shit ton of heals on this map, right? 2 Heron healers, not a lot of pus to heal. So I feel like you gotta finish off like if a lock takes like damage but doesn't die.
Oh, to finish stuff
So
off
that
with
you
a
can actually
pus? Yeah,
exactly.
okay. That's a good point.
Sort of
Using it
Yeah,
as a
you know, looking
utility
at-
to finish units off after they get pus, that's a good point actually. That's
That's
what
like
I
one
see.
that's the one
Kills
utility I could
them.
see for them, yeah.
From what I see about it, just looking at how the distributions were, I do like the souls a lot actually. But I think the main issue is that Dantski has 2
Two locks. Yeah, you have to put 4 different players on. Like, the locks are the most important unit on this. You have to
They're-
have as much micro on them as possible.
This actually played out a little bit like Badlands.
I also think 6 dwarfs is just too many. I'm actually going to take it back. I think
Wait,
you
how
guys,
many doors did you get?
we got 4. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll never know.
There's always
But,
diminishing returns with dwarfs. You got to remember that. You know, you only
you
need,
realize these aren't normal doors
Flag
though, right?
lost.
They don't dud.
they don't dud, but other than that, they're
Contested.
normal. Like, that's the only difference,
Flag
really.
captured.
So already, my goal almost autoed there. I had to taunt it to stop it. So Homer's flanking behind. I was hoping he would do that, honestly. I was trying to bait him to go down there. Because as soon as he goes down there, I'm like, okay, I can just tag him.
So from the splits right now, the main issue difference is that, like, if you can see, LSO is like taking this area north of mid. So he
Yeah.
has this like ability to either support middle or go
Yeah,
north.
he's in a good
But
spot. That's a
Dantski-
really good position he has.
Yes, but Dantski is just down here by himself with 2 locks.
Yep.
And like he's ineffective, so it's like
Yep,
essentially one lock is just out of the fight with one of the with MIT's lock in the middle of the.
Also,
map.
I'm going
You
to
can
point
go
out,
anywhere.
if you're going to use the souls as we described, the last place you want them is in the middle of your team formation. They should be on the flank, looking to pick off stuff from the side.
Yeah, I mean, and them being mid wasn't necessarily part of the strat. They just said go wherever you can get damage. But maybe
Sam
I
just
should
wasted a
set-
lock shot on a fucking ambient deer unit. That's great.
That's funny. Yeah, Dantski was frustrated right now. I told him, yeah, I'll try to get my plus in the backfield and free you up. But yeah, he was frustrated.
He's
with
only
the
using one
position.
lock at a time. You guys are you're basically fighting 4v3 in locks right now.
Yeah,
There's too much micro to go on these locks. You can't
Yeah,
you can't
it
double
seems
them
like-
that.
It's really similar, but again, I think that the biggest difference is that Dantski having 2 honestly was a huge part of the game, and also as you talked about the goal pack just being
We're calling for a trap on Homer's goals right now.
Yeah.
Full retreat, trap the goals.
You guys played the right way. Yeah, I don't like what I did here.
And then I think Sam gets the lock shot off to finish him.
You guys
Homer actually, he could have, if he had not gone down that choke, he could have wasted a lot more time running around to the other side of the map. He made another blunder by going down that choke because then he was trapped. The other thing he could have done is actually just backed out. He should have just like backed out. He would have taken a couple hits from the Merms, but probably still lived.
One thing I don't like from both teams here, to be honest, is I feel like these doors can be way more aggressive than they are.
I think it's hard. Ours just lost his dwarf. He just lost a dwarf. I don't fully agree with you. Like I thought that at first too, but like it is, you have to like block. You have to be like on point with the fucking block. The margin for error is very low with the blocks on these dwarves.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We played these maps, a few times before the match, and freaking Gru was blocking everything, even with me pump faking, like lock shocks and everything. I think it's doable if you lock in.
Flag.
It is, but it's. I don't know. Our conclusion after testing was like, you can do it, but like don't rely on it too much. And I think that's the right call. You at the end of the day, you still need to win the lock fight. The lock fight is still the most important thing to win. This is still like, besides Homer dying, okay, you guys are down a couple dwarfs.
Yeah,
this is the other problem with trading too many dwarfs. They're just more likely to get picked off. Like that. I think 4 is the right number. 6 is too many.
I like what you guys did. Like, I mean, better than us, but man, the door thing, I just disagree with. That's just people not doing well, if I'm being honest. They're not dying by melee pressure. They're not dying by goal pressure. They're dying by straight on lock shots and not like getting the easy block.
So you're thinking more dwarfs because it'll block, like you can use them to block. That's what you're thinking.
Block and push.
Yeah, the thing is though, like I'm never to push is like that's an even further extreme. I feel. Oh, see, your north's in danger here. Your north's starting to get in a bad position.
Sam and GKG are pinching Gekko.
Yeah, we got 2 lock advantage in the north that Gekko.
And this is where the game really like breaks open.
Yeah,
like a 10% lead.
Yeah. I just don't think you can push though with the dwarfs like you're suggesting.
Maybe not.
You could hold. You can waste mana. You can get them to waste mana on the dwarfs, sure. But the problem with that still is smart lockers are not going to waste mana on the dwarfs. And I told our guys like don't just waste your shot. If you look at my lock this game, I almost never shoot directly at the dwarf when it's got a clean block on me. Oh, another dwarf just went down for you guys. So. Here's the other thing, Asmo. If you were gonna rely on the dwarfs that much, you needed to have your guys actually practice blocking lock shots with the dwarfs. Did you do that at all?
That's what I agree with. Not really. I mean, whoever played in those games, that's why I should have been on that role. I would have blocked all those shots.
All right,
for sure.
Gekko is in a terrible position right here. I end up baiting this lock shot of his into my Heron. I wanted him to shoot that because now he's out of mana right when we're about to rush him.
Yeah.
So just picked off Dantski's lock mid. So
Nice.
now you have a 4-3 advantage to locks.
I end up autoing this pus. I did not click that fucking pus. It's fucking autoed. So I wasted a pus there. Gekko's cleaned up now at this point. So we've won the north. We're just like, we tell our guys like, hey, we won the north. We just need a couple minutes to wrap around. And then we'll help push mid.
See, to me, the way you kill Gekko's dwarf there, to me, that's valid. Like, to me, like, he didn't do anything wrong in terms of defense. The other 3 I saw died.
Yeah, like, 100%.
They just didn't have practice on it.
They had to practice it. Like, you could not rely on it unless they practiced it. Even I fucked it up. Like, the first 2 or 3 times I tried to block a lock shot, I fucked it up. I was like, oh, you got to get the timing just right.
Yeah, it's just not a common thing that anyone's done consistently, so it's understandable.
Here I'm trying to flank Zur to get a good pinch on him. Dantski's lock takes some damage from Kirk's lock. Got red. He's not dead yet though. I don't. Looks like Zur and Gekko are like, I don't know if they're trying. Yeah, they're trying to set up a rush maybe or something. But there's really nothing for them to rush.
Yeah, it's
I think Zur had to like just run. Like he actually should have ran earlier. Actually, yeah, that was a bad shot by me. Sam kind of locks himself there. Once he locked himself, I was like, okay, Sam, you're in danger of being rushed right now. So I'm kind of coming to him to help reinforce. And then they trade locks right here.
You guys are currently up 4 locks to 1.
Now it's 3-0, I think. Or 3? Is it 3-1? 3-0. Yeah, all your locks are dead at this point. Yeah. Yeah, the game's over.
This game is not close. We're basically playing down 2-player and almost 0 pus. That's how bad my splits were. And
I want to see what Groove's damage was, because I really don't think he did anything. Now, I'm not disagreeing that a Solar could have done better. I didn't think about the utility of finishing a pus lock. That's very valid. But he was in the worst position to do that. He needed to be off to the side, trying to apply pressure from the side. If you got souls, why wouldn't you use that to extend your kind of BC line to achieve some angles? Because you got the deep water and the hills that you can get on, right? You got to leverage that with the souls.
So I guess that will be my argument for why the souls are good, because you'll see his damage at the end of the game despite of what you have seen.
Okay, but I'm guessing all of it was melee, because I don't think he picked off any arty.
He only had 2 souls and a Heron healer. He maybe killed like 1 or 2 units with the Heron. Like 4 damage, 5 damage maybe.
What did he kill though with the soul? What do you mean he only had, like, he had 6, I saw 5 or 6 souls, did I not?
No, I'm saying with his melee, he literally got like 5 damage maybe with his melee.
Yeah, but I don't know like what he hit. If he just hit a bunch of thrall, then who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see him kill anything important. Did you?
I don't. I mean, I wasn't watching that much. I don't know what he killed. His damage ends up being good though.
And he's in the middle. Just like that was just the worst spot for him to be in, was in the middle. Yeah, you're right. He got good damage, but I'm guessing it was a bunch of thrall or something like that. I'm almost certain he didn't kill any locks. How many dwarfs do we have alive at the end there? 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he killed a dwarf. I'm not sure, but I find it unlikely. But we'd have to watch it again. Either way. Oh yeah, we got 3 dwarfs alive. So we only lost 1 lock and 1 dwarf in the end. I know for a fact he didn't kill 1 lock, because that was Sam's lock. We saw Zur and Sam trade locks. I highly doubt he killed the 1 dwarf, right? So the one thing that we're saying souls have utility for, which is finishing arty units, he didn't achieve that objective. Like, if it was just to get damage on melee, I mean,
I hear what you're saying, dude, but like, we got stomped that game, right? Like, we were getting pushed back. We were dying instantly. Our pus was useless. We like collapsed as a team instantly. So I don't know, to be honest.
I think you have an argument for getting souls, but like, he just going all mid like that was like, if you're gonna do that, I just don't think that's how you get it.
No,
you,
I agree.
You're gonna be flanking on the line.
Again, I think the whole game was just the fact that Dantski had the 2 locks.
Yeah.
The micro was
And the homer with a dedicated gold pack that didn't do anything. And yeah, the squads were awkward.
It allowed LSO to take like a commanding spot in that northern peninsula area, and like
yeah, that was actually part of our strat. We knew that spot was important, so we were pushing for control of that.
Yeah, I mean, the double lock and me and Homer with literally on pus, I think we probably killed 0 units with our pus, if I'm being real. Like, we did nothing.
You are being real? I'm looking at the stats now.
We
0 units.
I essentially turned the game into a 6v8 where we don't have pus, so like, yeah, it was
a 6v8, and also like kind of like a 3v4 in the locks, because Dantski could only use 1 lock at a time. There's too much micro on each individual lock. You can't micro both of them, so...
The lock play was much stronger on MIT. Look at it. LSO, GKG, Croc, Sam.
Yeah.
All great damage, all great kills.
Yeah, Kirk had another great game.
You had Dantski, Gekko.
I was actually a little disappointed in my damage at the end of this game because I was like, damn, I thought I killed a shitload of stuff, and it's like, damn. It's like,
Yeah.
my damage was okay. It wasn't great though.
So after that game, the momentum had already been on your side. It's clearly on your side. No one said anything, like actually said anything, but everyone feels it. There's just
Yeah.
silence, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one's
yeah.
talking other than me saying like the basic things about the upcoming game. Like everyone's silent. People have to be doubting at this point for sure on our team.
Yeah, and also I want to point out going into this next, I'm loading up the next film now. This next game is like a very strong game for us. It's a tro map. Like I'm feeling good going into this game at this point. Like, oh, we just need to win this game, and it's a tro map. Like, yeah, we should be this should be easy for us. Not easy, but it definitely is. I would say this pick is to our advantage. I would just say.
Yeah, upon like initial inspection, I would agree. Definitely favors men in tights. You guys have like it's like a natural trow map. You have a bunch of choices for that are all probably stronger than anyone on Death and Taxes.
Yeah. I'll point out that we have Kirk trowing, so I like that we got like this rotation of like also Kirk and I all got to trow once in the finals, at least once. So that was good.
But there is one thing though. I do really think that Arzenic and Dantski are both great on fetch, like some of the best players on fetch.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I think that also does matter. You guys have Paris.
Sam is really phenomenal on fetch too. Who's our fetchers? Yeah, you're right. Your fetchers are gonna be better than ours. Like I would only say Sam could stand up to Dantski and ours. Myrk and Paris are gonna be a bit weaker probably. Who's your third fetcher? Oh, you only got two fetchers. I see.
Yeah, it's a different split. So it's 3 for MIT between those 3, and then 2 for Death and Taxes, and that's like.
But like it's like yeah, he's got better like his second fetcher is better than our second fetcher, but like this is kind of different with all the hills and the morts and the souls. It's not like a pure fetch on fetch battle. You know what I mean? So
I will say I'm kind of surprised with you and LSO on souls and not in the Trower fetch.
So the thinking behind that, I'm paused at 0 by the way, but we'll finish talking about the strats here. The trowing on this just didn't seem. It's a tro map, but it's not like a purely conventional tro map in a sense, and so I felt like my greatest impact was not going to be on the tro necessarily. The souling on this I think is the hardest thing to do because you have to understand what your positioning is, and it's so hard. I think this is actually maybe. If I may gloat a little bit here, I think one of my unique skill sets is actually in soul packs and spider packs. I don't know if you guys have noticed it at all, but what I find very difficult to find in other players is giving them big soul packs and soul and spider packs in particular, and knowing when they need to push to take hills with like push and fight, like even potentially into a defended soul hill. Like it should not be that scary. Most people are too scared to do it, and especially if you have a soul advantage. So we have, instead of 3 soul packs, we went 2. So if Asmo, we knew going into it, if Asmo had 3-way splits on the souls, I don't think he does, but we were feeling confident that like, okay, if we got a soul advantage, we can push into that. And on this map in particular, the east side I think is the best side for souls to be aggressive on, because it's just so wide. It's hard. Like basically, you need morts. You need morts to hold off the souls. Morts on the high ground, right? Morts or souls in particular. Fetch are not going to hold it against souls. And they have to have the high ground in particular. So that east side is so wide. There's like if you imagine the force middle and the force on the wide east, there's still room right in between those two fronts for a soul pack to go in. Like there could be easily an opening there for the soul pack to go in. And so I knew that going into this game. That's something I was looking for, and you'll see me end up taking advantage of that. But my point is, I don't think if you give souls and spiders to very many other players that they would make that same move as I did. It's a very aggressive, ballsy move, and you have to know. It's very nuanced, knowing how safe, like, is it safe to make that play or not, right? Most people are gonna be too scared to make it, and so I knew that that's the role I should take. I also want to be coordinating the offense on that side. In Kirk's role with the Tro, we told him, like, hey, you don't want to be pushing deep into their backfield with those Tro. You just want to try and control that middle flag. So this is where our strats are very different. So I always talk about on King of the Map that there's like 3 primary patterns that I see play out on King of the Map maps. One is if there's a big center hill on the map with a flag there, typically you're going to want to jugger your whole army middle to get control, especially if the middle hill gives you good access to the rest of the map. Like, it's nice and wide open. You're not going to get like bottled up there. That's usually what you want to do, is just jugger the middle, get control of that first, then branch out, spread out from there to leverage your map control using the advantage you have, having control of middle. With that middle hill, you can easily hold it, and also gives you easier access to the rest of the map. You can shift around the map a lot quicker, right? So that's pattern number 1. Pattern number 2 is basically the opposite of that. The furthest opposite of that is you play very wide and spread out, and you dive into their backfield. And it's basically like the kind of map where you can't cover everything, and there's enough strong, fast units that it's like pretty impossible to keep the backfield clear, and there's a lot of flags in the backfields, and the other terrain on the map isn't as important or can be ignored. So that's pattern number 2. Those are the 2 on the far extremes. If you think of this as a spectrum, like with that one, pattern number 1's on one extreme, pattern number 2 is on the other extreme, and then in between of that, those 2 patterns in the middle of that spectrum is what I think this map is, which is you can test just the middle flags, not the one center flag, but like the flags that line up across the middle in between both starts across the whole map, right? And so in that it's when you play that pattern, it's like still a 3-prong. It's a 3-prong, just like the dive into the backfields. The dive in the backfield is usually a 3-prong too, but it's kind of like pattern number 1 with the center mid-all jug, in that you're going to just stay middle. You're not going to try to necessarily dive in the backfield. So that's what our plan was going into this. With Kirk's Tro, I don't really want him going into the backfield. There's not enough flags back there for me to want to commit too much to that backfield. Because if I commit too much to that backfield, you no matter whatever push you make, you have to make sure you keep your backfield clear. And on this, you usually can do that pretty easily. But if he ends up going wide and deep into the backfield, he's maybe gonna just give up ground middle and then give up our backfield too, and it won't maybe not do anything. But he might overcommit too many units. Usually, what you want to do on this is just do a few units in the backfield, like very light harassment in the backfield, not overcommitting too much. So in that kind of role, I don't want, like, there's not, Kirk can do that job just as good as I can. I think it'd be a lot harder for anybody else to do my role on the Souls in the East. So that was the thinking behind that. Now, there was some discussion about how to design Kirk's squad exactly. First, he only had melee. Then I decided, and also I initially had only traded 3 fetch on this. My initial trade was only 3 fetch. I later realized in my second revision of the strategy that was a mistake. So we ended up maxing fetch. And then the question was, okay, now we have more Artie. Who do we need everybody to control Artie, including the Trower. The Trower is, in my opinion on this, actually the Trower is not going to be busy enough with just Tro, and there's just too many Artie on the map, and the Artie is actually kind of important enough that we need the Trower to control some Artie. Initially, I gave him fetch. I later realized, Kirk and I both agreed that was a mistake because the fetch just require way more micro than the morts. So to give the Trower the fetch, I've done it before, but not on a map like this. It's really, really difficult to do. So anyway, we ended up changing it. Like, okay, the Trower's gonna have the mort. Great. I thought that worked out well because the morts isn't nearly as much micro. So our plan on this basically is a 3-prong. We're just trying to contest those middle 3 flags. We have basically each side has a quote unquote like contesting role, which is like the guys with the morts, they have the heavier melee that are meant to absorb arty shots, which is the mauls and the stigs to some extent. Stigs are weak against morts, but they're kind of stronger against fetch and also souls. So they're the contesters, right? So every side has a contester. Their only job is to contest with the melee, and they use the morts. They got 2 morts each, which is perfect to be able to stagger double mort shots to defend themselves against fetch. So the morts are just meant to zone out enemy fetch so that their melee can keep contesting on the flag, right? Then they have a support guy with them, which is the guy with the fetch. The fetch, the fetcher is a fetch Zerks typically, except on the west side because Kirk's got the Tro and we kept the Zerks with the Tro on that side. So that side's fetch mauls, whatever. But the fetch, their main job is to push enemy melee off the flag, right? It's really hard to push enemy melee off the middle flags contesting with just morts or even souls, right? Like, you can dodge that shit for a while, but with fetch, you can't dodge fetch shots. They're very effective for pushing off enemy melee from contesting. So that was the thinking there. And then, of course, you got the souls kind of backing up both of them. They're like the tertiary support because they got the longest range, and also they can roam better. So LSO and I are the further support on that. And so anyway, that's the general gist of what we're doing. Now, Asmo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to describe your strat. You can adjust what I say, but you, in my opinion, your strat, because you're gonna end up juggering west pretty heavily. You're looking more for like pattern number 2 in what I just described, which is like trying to get into that backfield. Like when you do that kind of jugger on one flank like that, that's usually you're trying to pierce into the backfield to expose it, or even like to split the map up east versus west instead of north versus south. Sometimes you'll want to do that for that purpose too. So that's the difference that I see here. Asmo, what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, that wasn't the strat. I mean, yeah, jug west, but I had the exact same explanation to my team in terms we're playing for those 3 middle maps.
Oh, okay, interesting.
The terrain on the map's insane with those moors. If they do the right thing, they should be able to lock up all the passages in the backfield. Other than spiders, I do 100% agree with you that the spider pack souls are arguably the most important macro unit on this map.
Yeah.
So I put similar players on it who are really good at macro and stuff. But no, we did do the Jugger on west because there's a big open space there. So we 100% wanted to guarantee that was going to be our neutral flag. The other one we were going to play for was mid, and we were going to not really play for east. We were going to use the tagger like every once in a while from the east side to get some time on it. So not 100% getting on it, but we were expecting to probably get that one. But we were going to get west with you getting 0 time on it, hopefully.
Okay,
and then like 50-50 mid, and then get a little time on east. And to break open like some extra taggers, like as the game settled down, we're gonna try to break off some spiders to get in your backfield. Swap.
I was looking to get
not
spiders
to completely
too.
swap time, but to get some extra time.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Like I really saw that the backfield play was more going to be like 2 or 3 Zerks and or spider packs was the main use of like harassment. I do like that. Okay, so that's interesting. That's good. I can see. Yeah, I think that's better. That's better than. I'm glad to hear that you weren't planning to just like push all the way into our backfield on the west side. Although I think that did end up kind of happening, but yeah, I think that's correct. Having all your fetch on that side, that is the best side probably to put fetch. I agree. You got those trees. It's kind of like wide open, but like it's like flat terrain, so that helps the fetch, but also trees to block them from souls and stuff. So yeah, I like that. I can see why you would think of that. I think the 3 fetch spread out, like, I don't know. I think both are valid probably at the end of the day. Like I like having them spread out too because like 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 basically like okay, I think you pretty much guarantee yourself the west side, that west flag middle. But then I think you're gonna get kind of bottled up there, and at least if we had played it properly, it's not what ends up happening. But and then like I still like having like if we have fetch that are uncontested on the middle and east, like they're great for pushing enemy melee off the flags. Then they can just lock down those flags pretty diligently. So like I just don't, I don't know, like 9 fetch like that. You would want the 9 fetch like that if you were gonna do a straight on fetch fight, but like I just don't see you're gonna get a big fetch fight over there, and then it's like, what are they gonna do now? They're all stuck on one side of the map, kind of thing, right? So that's just my thinking on it, I guess.
The one thing I would have changed. Go ahead. What?
I also wanted to point out that again, the trades are very, very similar. The only difference really is that Asmo seems to have a 1 more mortar and no Stygians, and you trades traded for Stygians. Otherwise, the trades are like nearly identical.
Yeah,
That's
I wanted to
go ahead.
The
one change I sorry.
Go.
The one change I would have made, and I thought of this beforehand. I honestly don't know I did it. I would have traded down like 2 moles and put Stigs there for the contest mid. I thought of it. I don't know I didn't, to be honest. Like I should have. Like it was stupid not to.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I traded for just a little bit of Stigs just for the utility, because if you're that way, the guys who are contesting flags, they got the option for what kind of melee they want to use. If they're trying to contest against souls, obviously use the Stigs all day. And then even if it's fetch, like I probably use the Stigs against the fetch too, because they're a little bit resistant to it compared to the mauls. So
yeah, for sure. I'd say this is a really interesting map. Just last thing from me is like, I think both our splits are fine. They're a little bit different, but both fine. Like this map is like could be a 10-player map, right? So it makes it really interesting with the splits of how to do that. It's really fun in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you give Zur any arty? No.
No, he's just got 8 mauls, I think, was his support.
Okay, so you put the mauls with the tro. Yeah, that's sometimes because you're trying to do a tro fetch push probably with it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we figured you'd have fetch over there to fight. We thought we'd have. Yeah. So.
The other thing I don't love what you did, Asmo, is you got Homer with 3 morts. I mean, it's too many for one guy, you know? Like,
yeah, I knew he was going to have the hardest role. Whoever had the 3 morts was going to have the hardest role to fulfill their job in the holds. But surprisingly, like, I agree with you. That's the hardest role of the defensive guys. But he's the mortar guy who did his role somehow, having the hardest job to do it.
Yeah.
And I understand like your confusion with what you thought our plan was, because the way I'd explain this game with how it actually played out was organized chaos. The plan fell apart instantly, and we had to pull a rabbit out of the hat to make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we bungled it pretty badly on our side. I was feeling we had a very strong. Well, we can start it. You guys ready to start it?
Yep.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Game.
We felt very good like the first half or so of the game. Like
You should have.
yeah, like we were up. We had command. Like our east ends up pushing really, really strong. Okay, there's another mistake I got to call out here. Funk, you're gonna see we got 2 Mort Mall guys go middle. Both Spoon and Funk are going middle. That was not the plan. We even did dry runs going over this before the match, and somehow this mistake still happened. It just drives me
One was
crazy.
supposed to go east, right?
Funk was supposed to go east, right off
I guess
the
the
bat.
thing that worked out with for you guys there is that was our side. We were like not gonna push it all. So I think for you guys it. At least
I didn't like it. I thought it hurt us more because I felt like we would have pushed faster and better on that side. I mean, I feel like we didn't get punished enough for it because obviously So you got Mark and Groove holding that east.
Flag captured.
They should have been able to hold that a lot better.
Yes,
Given that Funk was not there. If Funk was there though, I think they would have collapsed
No,
regardless.
dude,
Okay,
no,
I just-
no.
Contested.
I just want to point out that we have a three-way split with the fetch with Paris going pretty far.
Flag contested.
East, we have LSO.
Flag
well, excuse
captured.
me. Myrk middle,
Yeah.
and then we have Samuel off in
Flag contested.
the west. So
Flag
we have a pretty wide
lost.
split for all of the fetch for MIT, but for Death and Taxes, they have them all in the same spot.
Yeah,
So-
you can see we're going to dominate the mid flag already. You can see just by the way the units are lining up.
Well, important real quick. So the east, the double morts are like standing
Flag
together. The whole reason to have all these morts is to cover all the crossings. One of those morts should be far
Flag
east, where there's
contested.
that passageway up
Flag
right now.
contested.
Yeah.
Flag lost.
Asmo, like their melee is insufficient to hold a full. Like we got more Zerks over there.
Not with the-
and
not with the
they
more-
can't cover like three. There's like three different entrances there. They can't cover all three. It's also 3v2. It's 3v2. They
I
were
mean,
gonna
Groove's-
collapse regardless.
Groove should be supporting that.
Flag captured.
Oh, I
against those
agree. I mean, you can
wolves,
see me.
spiders.
You see what I'm talking about. Like they left that gap wide open for me. I'm already going for it right away.
Contested.
Like I didn't hesitate at all. And Groove, look at Groove. Groove is. I mean, I kind of.
Contested.
Actually, you're there, middle. What is it? So Groove is focused on middle. He's not paying attention. This has been a big weakness. This is a pattern we've been seeing in Groove's play. This is like at least the second game I can remember getting behind him while he's not
Flag
looking,
lost.
and you can see me already killing him.
That's definitely a really big loss of that mort. His GK is
Flag
just
captured.
really up right now.
Yeah, now I'm about to
aggressive
take the main
play,
Soul
just-
Hill now too,
Yeah,
and
and each team is definitely making like a press on each side right now. So you have you and Paris pushing up here.
once I get this main Soul Hill, like I know I have your whole middle by the balls, and I get it. So
Yeah, I actually detached
Flag
all the souls to Groove right here. Basically, my whole unit set, because I know that east is
Flag
completely
contested.
collapsed. And I'm just going to
Flag
be a useless
captured.
player holding two players
Flag
versus one for no
lost.
reason here. So I'm
Flag
already thinking to
contested.
cause chaos right here, which is why I give all the souls to Groove.
Yeah, our mid and east is dominating. Now, your west also dominating. This is where LSO made a big mistake, I think. His souls are only now just starting to get shift west.
Contested.
He was
Flag
too focused trying to win that middle flag that he totally missed that he
Flag
should have been helping
contested.
Kirk defend this west like 3 minutes ago, basically.
Flag
This is way
lost.
too late for him. As soon as he saw the 9 fetch on the west side, he should have shifted to that side. We could have held
captured.
our cliffs. I mean, we're both arguing that both of us could have held our cliffs on the weak side, but
Flag contested.
I think we had a much better chance of it because
Flag
I think
lost.
fetch are going to have a hard time pushing it uphill into double morts without
Flag contested.
without some kind of way to flank around or have superior melee or whatever. So, okay, so right here, I'm really happy with Paris. Like, I have to look at it. Maybe he was a little slow getting up here, but he did pick off Mark's morts. He's got all.
Flag
We're
captured.
fully in your backfield at this point. So,
Yeah, Pierce is doing a good job right now. Yeah, I agree with the soul shift, but even right now, like your guys' position, way more to win this game.
yeah, because there's still more flags we have to take. Now let's see. Oh, we missed it. So Gekko ends up killing LSO's spider pack in kind of southeast of middle.
Oh, yeah. I see.
I missed it on the camera, but LSO had a 10 spiders shadowing Gekko's 8 spiders, but he didn't click on Gekko's spiders. And so Gekko apparently noticed that his spiders weren't following him, so he turned to fight and ended up killing 10 spiders and only losing 2, which ends up being a huge
captured.
play. Now Gekko's
Flag
totally opened up in our backfield.
It-
Our backfield
it
should have
is-
been totally locked down right now, and now it's wide open.
It is the biggest shift in the game for us. I think there's no way for us to win until we realize
Flag
that happened, and now we're like, we have a complete
Flag
win condition
lost.
now. That Gekko broken open that part of the game. It
Yeah,
was massive.
I also want to call out Paris did not shadow 2 Zerks from Homer. Again, big mistake. You have to shadow everything to keep your backfield clear, and just stuff was missed. He also, you're going to see this mall in Northeast. Homer has a mall in the north. Homer saved the fucking game for you guys, dude. He has this mall in the Northeast that ends up tagging one of those flags back, and it gets a huge amount of time. And Paris never finished the mall. Like, he should have chased it down. I called for him to help me push these souls with Groove right here. So that's what he's helping me to do right now. But still, he should have tagged that shit already. You can just literally throw your melee at it and leave it alone after that.
Yeah, Horace. Big this game. I take a trial from Zer here, and I tell them to retreat on that side and hold, and I run towards middle.
Flag captured.
I just know that we can't push into you guys with all those souls, and so, but I think we can hold pretty good without losing any flags by shifting back to that one flag to the west. So I'm trying to continue to create chaos with detaching that trial and get flags that aren't covered by trial.
Our
flag contested.
Our spiders and zergs. Well, we don't have spiders anymore. Like, we're just not shadowing stuff. Oh, here's a big play. Paris is going through mid. This is a terrible position for him. He tried to kill that Mort. Look at this. What is he doing? He tries to kill Homer's Mort, but doesn't finish it. Homer, boom, kills all of his fetch. I don't know. I literally don't know what Paris was doing there. He pushes into a valley with a Mort right above him and into a Tro when I'm busy and not there to defend him with the Tro. So that ends up swinging things massively for us as well. Like, he could have easily circled around and stayed on the high ground and killed Homer on the high ground there, and he didn't do it.
That's, if you take a look at, that's also where Asmo went. And if you go back to the south, there isn't any change in this fight. So it's a huge swing from Asmo.
Yeah. You pushing with that Tro end up helping big time, yeah.
See, also detaches a trail from Kirk right now, which I like, but I feel like that move should have happened as soon as I made the move towards mid. He should have taken that trail and got secured. Probably not shadow me. He probably should have secured all those east flags that we have right now.
Totally agree. You can see that you guys are being way smarter in like detaching shit around and contesting, and like we're just like minutes slow to doing anything reacting to it. It's like crazy to me.
Flag captured.
Yeah, so I felt like I was pretty dominant middle, but I just can't. I don't have the units to like go around and grab all these flags, unfortunately.
So even with that big swing that Asmo just had, they were still down. They're still down 10% right now. Big engage happening in the
south. But they're up in time and flags, and that's going to be a real big issue. Yeah, no, I don't like this push by Kirk here though. He's down in Tro help, and he's going into souls still.
Dude, Dantski and Arzenic's fetching here is so good.
We needed to just ignore that. Why would we push into a 9 fetch wall? It makes no sense.
Yeah, their fetching is really solid, and the
flag contested.
They look scary with all the souls there, but the souls aren't really pressuring our fetch as much as they should be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's LSOs. He's probably paying attention to the trail and the souls at the same time.
Oh no! Does he still have that Tro? Oh my god! I've been harping on LSO all fucking tournament about this to stop controlling units on 2 sides of the map, and here he is. He's doing it again. This is terrible, terrible habit that he has. I hate it. Even I don't try to do this shit.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to do. That's a big old soul pack engaged in a fight while Mike growing that trail trying to do all the tags.
You get Paris with 1%. I handed Paris some of my spiders because like he's got a spider pack in the northwest. Like he easily could have controlled something, even though he kind of suicided. Yeah, 100%. Like why is he still controlling that trail? It makes no sense. I didn't hear him in comms even ask anybody if they had hands to control it either.
Flag contested.
Oh my god, it makes my eyes bleed. Yeah, at this point I know that we're probably lost the game, honestly, because here Groove has set up to block me. Like, I've got my corner of the map kind of controlled, but I can't finish Groove here because he's still got the Mort left now from the high ground.
I will give Groove credit. He had a rough start to this game, but he didn't just go in suicide. Fighting for position, he already lost. He survived and actually became useful later in the game, so credit to him for that.
Yeah, I don't think the fetching is what won this game for either team here. Look at this. Sam's getting rushed down. Like, again, we can't push if we can't. Like, why is LSO Souls not defending the Tro? Oh my I didn't notice all these mistakes, dude, until just
Flag
now.
captured.
That is awful.
Flag
I hate it. I absolutely hate it what
Flag
happened there.
lost.
Soul's trying to argue fight
Flag
fetch.
contested.
Let me tell you something.
One
Good fetchers
remaining.
will fucking hold
Flag
off a soul
contested.
line for at least half the fucking
Flag
game.
lost.
Like, maybe you can
Flag
finish the fetch by the
captured.
end of the game. It will take you
Flag
forever to
contested.
kill those fetch. Like, it's not worth it.
Flag captured.
Yeah, I mean,
Flag contested.
Elso still has that trout.
Flag
Kirk has a trout in the west and one in the southeast. Like, I just feel like you have
Flag
players with
contested.
1%. Trust
30
your
seconds
teammates, man. Why are you going to try to control something in the
Flag
very far
yeah.
west and the very far east?
Yep. I'm really disappointed
Flag
also on that one
captured.
because this is the second or third time
Flag
I've talked to him
contested.
about it. You know,
Flag
and
captured.
it's just it's repeating
Flag
itself
lost.
over and over and over
Flag
again.
contested. Flag lost. Flag captured.
Makes my
Yeah,
eyes
I mean-
bleed.
Lost.
Yeah,
I think
this
what-
was the game we should have won. Like, this is the one that
Yeah,
got away from
yeah.
us 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Game over.
Definitely.
That last minute and a half of the game, we weren't trying to play BC. We said it's okay to die.
I have to say,
Share your game
Gekko's
flag, huh?
Gekko's spider fight win might have been like the thing that swung the game.
When I analyzed this,
Because
there was three key areas that we made game change. Like, basically they cost us the game. There's three of them actually. One was LSO losing the spider pack to Gekko's there. Two was leaving Homer's mall in the Northeast. I actually counted it in the film. That mall, I don't think I showed it on the camera because I was looking at other things. But anybody go look at that film or just review this video and see how long that Northeast flag was controlled by Homer's mall after we had that whole side of the map under control. It ends up getting 3 minutes and about 15 seconds of time, which you have to remember that doubles, you know, when you're looking at the score. So
That's
if you look at
enough.
these times here, Asmo wins by like something like a little over 5 minutes. It's like 85 to 92. No, 80, sorry, a little over 7 minutes. Is that right? Yeah, a little over 7 minutes. Yeah. That mall gets like over 3 minutes of time. So that was almost, not quite actually. I miscalculated it before. I thought that mall cost it completely on its own. But most of their time advantage came from that one mall in the Northeast on that one flag.
It's six minutes of time essentially, like
Yeah.
you're saying, right? 3 minutes
Yeah.
for us.
6
3
out of the
minutes
7
you
minutes
didn't
that we
get
needed.
that you would have had for sure.
Yeah. And then of course Paris suiciding middle into that tro with the Mort on the high ground, which is like, I don't even understand what he was thinking there, to be honest. Like, when some of your players are making mistakes like that, it's like just hard to win games in general, no matter what you do. So those were the three big mistakes. The number 4, honestly, is probably LSO's souling. He was never lined up where he should have been against their tro. Like, I really don't understand it. Like, I don't think he faced off against their tro hardly at all the entire game. And then of course splitting off the tro, you know, trying to control 2 at a time like that. It just made no sense. So LSO and Paris kind of combined, I would say, share the responsibility of this loss for our team.
Yeah, Homer came up big time for us for sure.
Yeah,
'cause
he was all over those
he's-
flags. Yeah.
He sort of saved us from a disaster, man. He had 65 damage on a freaking
And he got you guys most of the
squad,
time that you needed to.
and
Yeah.
he played the game type really well. So I mean, him and Gekko, I'd say the MVPs for sure this game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Doesn't show in Gekko's stats, but really he's the one who allowed us to even have a way to win the game.
Yeah, he got you the time
So he got the spid pack. That was the big play for him. What did he have? He had souls as well.
Souls,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for Gekko it was mainly the spid pack. I didn't really see much else that he did, and that's kind of like LSO just giving it to him. It wasn't really like an easy. It wasn't like a difficult play for him to make or anything. I mean, it was smart on his part in the sense that he noticed LSO's souls not following him, so he knew he could turn around and fight. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not like a crazy micro play, but heads up move. And
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
that
a
could
smart
be the
decision.
difference.
Yeah, smart decision. Yeah, I mean, he made the play. Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought this was one of my stronger games, and so it was really frustrating for me that, like, I thought
you're-
everywhere I was dominated, and then like, everywhere else is like not fucking doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's just driving me
Honestly,
crazy.
a big swing in the game was when Paris got hit by the mortar blast. It was
Yeah.
pretty hard to overcome that, just because that was like your main push force. was
Yeah, he
you
needed to
and
keep killing
him.
and taking flags. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that kind of neutralized your guys' push over there, but they still had a really strong.
Yeah,
unit
our offense kind of puttered out. Like,
concentrated.
yeah, I had the force that was left that could keep taking flags, but like unfortunately, souls and spiders, like, they're only good around the middle soul hills, and they don't move fast. Well, the spiders do, but the spiders are easily kind of countered in a lot of ways too when they come off the soul hills. Like there was just I don't know, there wasn't really much. I was looking for openings for my spider pack to like take flags, and like usually it was like I saw that mall, for example, in the Northeast. I guess in hindsight, I should have fucking just put my whole spider pack on that mall. The reason I don't like doing that is because it's just not a very efficient use of the spiders, right? Like that mall is probably gonna kill like 3 spiders before I can kill it or something, right? So, yeah, I don't know. In hindsight, maybe I should have just fucking killed the damn mall myself. I shouldn't have had to though. Like Funk and Paris had the units. It was their role to do. So, I don't know. Whatever. This game probably more than any other tilted me. It's now tied 3-3 going into the last game, and yeah, I guess as I don't know if Asmo can say he has momentum. This game was like kind of like a weird one, right? But it felt like going into the last game, it was even. Like neither team had momentum. That's what it felt like to me, right?
Yeah. Just one thing about your team, real quick. I could be wrong, but it feels like Myrk is low key having a strong series. I just haven't noticed anything bad from him, and that's usually a good sign.
Okay, that's interesting to point out. He did lose the dwarf. I think that was him on the dwarf in the.
Oh, on the capture the flag game?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
So that was a little bit of a
bad
blunder
play, though.
there. But otherwise, I agree with you. This was one of his stronger matches throughout the tournament. I think he kept getting better as the tournament wore on. Like he just, his thing the thing that holds him back is just activity, right? Like he doesn't play anything outside of the tourney matches. So I think he probably actually could have kept playing a bit better if he just got a bit more active, or if the tournament kept going on or whatnot. But yeah, no, I agree. He's having a decent match for sure.
Have you guys started Kayer yet?
Let's start it right now. I'm about to load it up. Last
I'd
game.
say this is the
Okay.
map I was probably the most confident. I feel like my strategy here was really good. I feel like I was pretty creative too, based on just,
Okay,
like,
that's interesting.
vanilla
You'll
map.
have to explain that a little bit to me.
So actually, I didn't have time to do a dry run with my team like I usually did because I had to drop off my kids at babysitter and stuff. So I made like an hour-long dry run video so my whole team could watch it. And so it actually like explains the care strat, and it almost worked out to a T. Not 100%. I predicted that you guys are gonna do the archer, thrall, blah 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 pack to that northeast, right? Regardless of the side, and I wasn't expecting it mid, but pretty close. It played out how I talked about it in the dry run.
No, I still don't like flanking it, to be honest. I mean, you guys punish us on that last year. It's just too wide. I much prefer it going through middle, even now
But it was
after the game.
But it was captured the flag last time we played, and not flag really.
Yeah, but I don't think it changes anything too significantly. I mean, you're. I guess the one argument you can make is like it helps you guarantee that corner flag, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, obviously that's not the flag you guys held on to in this case. So what was the strat besides the north flank there with the archers? Anything else?
Oh shoot, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on this one. I went into this one pretty far into the detail. So we're doing the thing we already talked about, the northeast. I was expecting you guys to do it the same direction. I wasn't expecting that to go south for obvious reasons. It's why there's all that water, so the dwarf can't be effective there. And so a big part of our strategy was to play on south. I wanted to have more units down there than you, and we sent a gold tagger because I wanted to secure that south flag without you guys getting the neutral tag on it. And so part of the plan is we gave the warrior guys south one less warrior than they would normally get, and we gave 2 more to those mids, and we split mid with 6 warriors each between 2 players. And the idea was that Zerg could break off from mid and go south quickly if we needed to, if you guys had equal units to us down there, or like we needed advantage to make sure you didn't get the south.
Did you test
And
which Stark got the southwest tag first?
I tested on both sides, and it's like equal.
Oh,
Like
okay,
you can
interesting.
contest and hit at the same time. And so we were going to march. We had 6 throw on our home D. We were going to march a big pack towards mid in that south water, and the whole plan of that was always going to be to march it towards south to either support that fight down there if you guys had a bunch of warriors, or that we could shift our defense to making that southwest flag our
Hey.
main D at some point.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
I actually need to like step away for a minute. My uncle needs some help with some stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this whole game, but I'll try and get back in. When
No
it's
worries.
time
Take
to
your
go.
time, dude.
Yeah,
See if we don't see you again.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that strat, Asmo. That's really, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't think the one thing I might not agree with you is saying that Archer pack mid, or sorry, north. I think I still prefer it mid. But I do like your Thrall, the Thrall go mid and then shift to the southwest. It obviously worked really well, as we're about to see, but I still think this was very winnable for us. We made some crucial mistakes as well, but our plan was just to our plan was to like we wanted to just punch through middle and like just push mid as fast as possible. So we actually dedicate a full war pack, which was me middle, to help the archers push. And we're trying to rely on like, hey, if we punch through middle, even if they flank, we should be able to get through to their backfield quicker, right? Which is why I still don't quite. I'm curious how things would have panned out if things happened a little bit differently. But that was the plan. I mean, this ends up being a really close game, but. We have Kirk and Paris on war packs. So I would just say, like, after watching Paris's play in the last game, I was really not happy with putting him out of war pack in this game.
Yeah, I think you guys would put Samuel on that for sure.
I know. LSO put him on the war pack instead of Sam, and I guess I should have spoke up and said something. I don't know if I did say anything. I'm not sure, but in hindsight, I'm really regretting it because, yeah, Paris ends up costing us the game. He cost us last game basically, and he's going to cost us this game too. So, and I'll explain why later because I think it's maybe something that not everybody understands. But, yeah, we got lighter flanks than you, and like we're just looking like. We're not expecting the flanks are hold flanks essentially. We don't expect them to be able to like push anything because it's just one war pack. So we're definitely just trying to get control of that middle and punch through the mid to get your backfield. Like our D is supposed to be like home flag and one of the flanks, not both necessarily. I think we ended up setting it up to be home and the flag 4, so it ended up being the side that was favorable to you, but it really was meant to just be like fall back to home if needed, and home would have been fine too. Like ideally, I'll explain more after we start it. You ready to start it?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Game on.
All right, so again, I guess I'm regretting not coordinating the defense here, although I usually I prefer to coordinate the offense. In this case, maybe we should have put somebody else on the Archer's Thrall, and actually LSO took one of the flanking war packs, and I took the mid war pack. Maybe that's what we should have done. But what I really hate is just how you have to be so careful about who you put on what role. Like, you just wish, like, things could be more well-rounded and it wouldn't matter so much, right? But yeah, this ends up biting us in the ass huge because we don't have somebody coordinating the defense quite as we need. Basically, what should have happened, we got 4 Thrall on home, and there was 4 Thrall in the south. Oh, so we did actually guard the correct. Yeah, so I don't even understand it. I understand it even less now because we end up defending this flag 4 in the north, even though that's the one flag that has no thrall. It just drives me nuts watching it. Oh my god.
What flag route? Home and what else?
Yeah, home and the south flag 1 and 2, the 2 flag with 4 thrall on them. Like, those are the 2 flags we're trying to guard.
Was Paris supposed to go south then?
Yeah, of course. He's supposed to just run away from your. So you guys get the Archer Thrall flank going. As soon as I saw it up there, I'm pretty sure both LSO and I told Paris, like, yeah, just run away from that shit. You need to link up with Kirk. And ideally, actually, he would have been able to reach Kirk even at flag 2, and that Kirk could have we could have kept the 4 Thrall on flag 1. Which would have delayed you guys because you would have had to send like maybe a gold pack or archers and dwarf over there to take it. But like Paris and Kirk could have held flag 2 by themselves with those 4 Thrall there. And that's what needed to happen, and it just didn't happen. So yeah, we see. Also, the other thing that didn't happen was LSO was supposed to shadow those Thrall.
Flag captured.
He was supposed to put his Thrall and just click them. Like, again, I don't know. I need to talk to him about how he's managing his presets because I don't really understand it. In what I would do here is I would remove those Thrall from my preset. Or just send all of them and just, I don't have Thrall anymore with the archers. You can see, like, okay, he clumps them up here, but he should have clumped them up earlier. It's too late now. Now he can't select the Thrall. He needed to clump them before all the Thrall sunk. Now he can't target the fucking Thrall. You know what I mean?
No.
So that's another thing that just didn't happen.
Captured.
Like, he was supposed to shadow those Thrall the whole time. And so here we are now trying to push middle. Where am I? Okay, I'm already trying to go for... No, where am I? I double backed. Okay. So that was maybe a slight mistake on my part. I don't know. I think I was worried about Kirk, is what was happening there. Oh, yeah. What was happening here is I was, like, telling Paris, like, hey, I wanted to make sure Paris was going to be able to get there in time. Now, it's way too late for them to hold flag 2. Again, why does LSO have these 4 Thrall? Okay, he hands them to Kirk finally. He should have handed those Thrall to Kirk at the very beginning of the game. Yeah, whatever, minor detail. So Kirk does save those Thrall, that's good. But Paris, he needs to fall back to Kirk. Like, they both need to guard flag 1 to force your Thrall and archers
Flag captured.
to move as far as possible across the map, right? Like, that's the proper defense there. Instead, he's committed to trying to hold this flag 4, and in his mind, he's thinking, oh, I'll slow down their archers. But this is where people always fuck this up. The archers are not the bottleneck there. They might be slow, but the bottleneck is the Thrall. You're not going to slow down their Thrall, and that's the thing that actually, only thing that really matters in slowing them down. Now, I make another possible mistake here. I probably should have pushed your warriors in the south. I could have maybe cut those warriors off, but you end up getting away, and you're able to link up with your Thrall, which is great for you guys. So I might have made a slight blunder there, but...
I felt like if we got mid here, the game was over.
Yeah.
I knew we were gonna get the other 2 flags eventually.
I don't know what Myrk was doing with the goals there. He ends up losing his goals kind of unnecessarily there too. Like the Thrall.
This is a smart play by Sam that he
Yeah.
almost like gives you guys a chance to win the game.
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't know if someone called that out for him. If he did that on his own, it just like
He did it on his
reinforces
own.
my
He
opinion.
did it on
Yeah,
his own.
reinforces my opinion of him as a player. Then he's very smart.
Oh, I did say that we need to guard that flag, this is the thing that we kind of argued about a little bit more after we lost already. Was I said put 5
Flag
thrall there,
captured.
and in hindsight, of course, now everybody's like, oh, we should have. LSO said we should have put 10 there, and I was like, yeah, I only said 5 when nobody was, like nobody was putting any units on that mid flag, and I was like, guys, 5 thrall, and I kind of meant that like as at least 5 thrall. I would have been perfectly happy with 10 too. You're gonna see here a huge clutch play by Zur and Gekko together. So Sam, 9 times out of 10, 5 thrall will hold against four goals, even if they have a pus. But what happens, unfortunately, is Sam spreads his thrall when he should have just ate the pus clumped
Flag
up, because
captured.
now when they come out of the pus,
Victory imminent.
they're spread out too, right? And so they're weak in the melee. So he ends up only killing
captured.
like 2 goals out of the 4
Sudden death.
there. And then you see in the north, Paris committed the big blunder there was Paris basically forced Kirk to fall all the way back to that flag 4 in the north, which was closest to your thrall, which was the worst flag for us to try and hold on to. Looking at it now, I think
Flag
LSO's
captured.
archers and thrall are closer to. I mean, of course, your thrall slowed down a little bit, but I think we would have gotten to your flag quicker. And I think if Paris had just defended flag 1, there was a pretty good chance we were winning the game. I think so. Do you disagree with that?
I do, honestly.
Why?
Like big time. I felt like you guys like fell into our strat like 100% of the time. I felt like there's a bunch of different scenarios you could play out, and I think some of them could make the game closer and closer, but I still think like we pull it out. Like we sort of had a lot of time to work with.
I mean, your archers and thrall are not, the thrall in particular, are not even close to our flag 1. LSO is already in firing range of your flag. I don't know. We went through middle. It should have been a lot closer. So I think we were gonna have like a good 30-second, at least 30-second lead on you, getting to like. Okay, do you think if Paris had defended flag 1 with Kirk, do you think you guys would have had to wait for your archers at the very least?
Had to wait for what?
Wait for your archers to take
No,
that flag?
so that's the thing. Since you guys had no resistance in that side, and I said this from the very beginning, it wasn't like something that we took a long time to figure out. Once we saw that your archer thrall pack wasn't going that way, I told Gekko, like, don't stay attached to the archers and door. So you'd be having 2 equal warrior packs fighting against each other, plus we'd have a gold pack to support that. I feel like we're taking flag 1 still.
Nah. So
How would you guys defend that with just having 4
There
thrall
was-
on your defense
no,
against
there was
the whole
8.
gold
There,
pack?
there
and 2
wasn't
warrior
4
packs?
thrall. There was 8 thrall. There was 8 thrall there. It
On
wasn't
flag
4.
1?
There was 4 thrall initially on flag 1. Remember, there was 4 thrall on flag 2 that retreated to flag 1 too. There was 8 thrall there.
Oh, look at this.
And then also, if Gekko's goal pack is over there, he's not taking middle. You know what I mean? Like, he helped take middle. So he can't be in both spots at the same time. You want to look at it again?
I mean, I'm going through it. I don't know, dude. I mean, part of the archer push being slow is Paris is there, like, slowing them up, and it is the wrong play by Paris. I don't disagree like that, but the archers and throw would have been there a lot faster if you just retreated.
I agree. They did get slowed down some, but I guess let's look at it again real quick. I just don't think they slowed down nearly as much. Like, I think maybe... I think we still had a 30-second lead, at least.
I mean, your warrior pack's getting destroyed on that flag, right? Like,
Well,
for-
that's because I'm
for
suiciding
Alex-
into it, so because I
I
know
get it,
that
I
we're
get
about
it,
to
I get it.
lose.
I get it. I'm saying Elsa's thrall are still far from that flag. Like, they're not close, really. That's
But-
like 20 seconds for them to get there still.
Flag
The archers are going to get damaged before they get
Flag
there,
captured.
and his thrall are still
Flag
closer to the flag much closer than your thrall.
Flag
So let's
captured.
look at it though. I want to
Flag
see how. I
captured.
didn't really look
Flag
too closely
I
at
still
the
got,
north.
we're still
captured.
holding 2 big plus too, and we throw like 1 or 2 to waste just because the game's over. Like we have a shit
I had
ton
2
of
big
plus
pus
down
too.
there.
I had 2 big pus too though. I mean,
1, yeah, you have 1, yeah.
no, I had 2. I'll look at it again. But I had 2.
You had 2 down there. I'm just looking after you used it. So we had
Flag
4 plus the
captured.
2 down there.
You had 4 pus down there.
Yeah, Groove has 2 and I have 2.
Oh,
And we
okay.
actually only end up using 2. Like we're
Flag
still 2 at the end of the
captured.
game.
So here, I'm looking at it again. Yeah, there's 8 thrall there on D.
There it is. I went back and saw that.
So Paris is supposed to be there. He's supposed to be there. Gekko is not there. Where is Gekko? So by the time we walk off of, he's already middle, right? Like he can't be in both spots at the same time. So there's no reason that we gave up flag 1. That should have never happened. Like flag 1, Paris should have been with Kirk. He had all game to retreat back to that flag. Instead, he's pushing into Dantski's archers and thrall, which makes absolutely no sense. Now, I guess he ends up killing the dwarf, but unfortunately, the dwarf really just doesn't matter. The thing that matters is the thrall. So let's see. I want to see how much he slowed down.
You don't have a head start on the archers though. I'm looking right now.
Well, I want to see
Your
how much
archers-
Paris slowed down those north archers.
Our archers are in
The
front of your
thing is, the
archers.
archers are not the thing that's really going to matter. It's the freaking thrall.
Game on.
Yeah,
Flag
yeah,
captured.
sort of.
Flag
The Doors with
captured.
them, J-Man's with them. Our
Flag
Thrall
captured.
are equal further than your Thrall? Or Thrall ahead of your Thrall? I don't know.
Flag
You guys, by the way, like, I'm not saying, like, we weren't... I don't know. I actually will say, like, you guys were kind of lucky taking that middle, too. I'll just say. If you guys didn't take that middle...
I hard disagree. I feel like you go back and watch that fight, Zur and Gekko, they were playing like desperate. Like, it shouldn't have even been that close.
Well, like, if you look at the final fight, it was like 4 goals that were, like, I think mostly green against 5 full thrall. Like, yeah, they had a big pus, but, like, even so, 5 thrall kill 4 goals even with a big pus. Like, 9
Yeah,
times
but
out of 10.
I'm not talking about that point. I'm talking about before that when we had all the goals and warriors, and that flag probably should have been taken a lot sooner, to be honest, before Sam's support even got there, his dwarf and his thrall.
Well, Sam arguably shouldn't have allowed, like, you guys to even get that close, right? Like, he made the right call in getting there, but, like, actually, I would have liked to have seen him get to there sooner. Like, look at this. I'm looking at it at 7:30. He already let Zur get around him. Like, that's actually, like, that actually should... He did make the right call falling back, but he actually shouldn't have even let Zur get behind him in the first place. Okay, I'm looking at the north
Flag
now.
captured.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm counting it. Starting at about 725 or 720-ish. Paris spends 2 pus to kill that dwarf.
The dwarf, yeah.
And the one does. That's just, oh my god. He needed to use those pus on the war packs. Alright, so he did slow down the archers by a good 30 seconds. He didn't slow down the thrall yet. Not that I'm seeing, not yet. Which is the bigger thing, I would say. All I'll say is the game would have been super fucking close, dude. Like, at the very, very fucking least.
It would have been. It wouldn't have been.
There's no, there's definitely not, like, oh, you guys, like, totally outstratted us in the last game and it was, like, clean when we fell into your trap. It definitely wasn't that. Yeah, no, he did not slow down those thrall hardly at all. No, hang on. Ellis's still pretty far, though. Yeah, it would have been close because your guys' thrall is already at flag 4 and he's about the same distance. So yeah, it would have been close. It would have been really close. I would have liked to seen Sam not let Zur's warpack get around him in the middle. I think if he was in the right position on top of that flag, you guys weren't going to take that middle. The reason that mid fell is because, like, he was
captured.
like kind of like just barely
Victory imminent.
able to stay in contest range of that flag. So yeah, maybe you're right. We would have traded
Set it
traded
down.
flags on 1 and 3, but I think middle would have middle actually should have won us the game. But you'll disagree. That's all right.
Flag captured.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That was, oh man, such a painful game to watch on that one. Because it's like you guys kind of threaded the needle on both of those last two. Well, not really we kind of gave up the Northwest flag, like, but I'm just saying, like, if we had held the proper flag in the Northwest, like, it would have been super fucking close. And then you guys threaded the needle on middle, I guess, more than anything. From what I saw, anyway, like, we easily could have defended that middle a lot better, obviously. Yeah, but anyway, that was, I mean, that was like one of the closest matches, right? Probably of almost, I don't know, it was really fucking close.
Yeah, I'm glad it ended up being a close series. I mean, it's nice to get a win or whatever, but like ideally you want it in like you're fighting against a team that's giving you pushback. You want to punch back and forth to get a good match.
Highlight of the match was probably Kirk's fucking genning on that one game. That was really fun. Just fun as a spectator to watch. You guys were, I think, let's see, what was your, I think your most dominant win was the capture the flag game, probably. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, the first 2 games, but probably capture the flag. Cruelty and what is it, Valley of the Ruin or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And for us, well, the trespass, I think it was called, the game, the lock fight game. Yeah, that's probably our best game. Yeah, it was really, really good match. MIT will be disbanding after this fucking year. Yeah, you can say that you forced MIT to disband. You killed the team. Actually, it was discussed before the tournament even started, but it's been 4 years. 4 years is a long time for any fucking team to stay together. Even though like every year was a slightly different iteration, like some some variations every year, but yeah, 4 years is still a really long freaking time for any team to stay together. So in the end, looking back at what MIT did for 4 years, we went 2-2. That's kind of like just average, I would say, because usually you kind of know who the top 2 contenders are going to be. Were we guaranteed? Actually, one of those losses, we didn't even make it to the finals. So I guess we slightly performed better than average, because maybe at least one of those years we weren't guaranteed to be in the finals. But otherwise, it's pretty average, I would say, because usually there's only like 2 or 3 finalist teams. I would say, looking back on what we did as a team, like, I think we had some new blood. We got some new people, some MWC rings or whatever. Our record is roughly similar. Like, is MIT considered a dynasty? I don't know. Like, if it is, it's like a kind of a weak dynasty, right? I would say. It's kind of somewhere on par with probably NC, because NC's dynasty had a similar record, right? Like, they lost 08, then they had back-to-back wins in 09 and 10, one of those kind of weak, and then they lost again in 11, and then they kind of disbanded from then on. So it's kind of MIT's record, somewhat comparable to that, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that you guys are together with 4 years. That has to be one of the longest teams that stuck together. Like the other ones
Yeah,
that
definitely.
are like legacy teams, probably like NC, MP, stuff like that. That's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really long time for a team, especially like a new. It's kind of like a somewhat Rabblish type of team. It's not like we had like extensive histories together going way back or anything. Like a lot of new players teaming together for the first time. What else was I gonna say? Shit, I forgot. Yeah, I mean, looking back at like who's MVPs here. Probably I want to say Dantski or Gekko maybe. I don't know.
I thought probably Dantski or Arzenic, one of those two.
Okay.
Then yeah, I don't. It was one of the closest years that I can remember, at least for my team, where there's no like clear MVP. Was probably either
Yeah.
Dantski or
Yeah.
ours. Like even Gekko and Zerk could be in that conversation a little bit. There's like not a clear guy this year.
Yeah, I think for us it was definitely between Kirk and I for our team. I think we put in the two strongest performances for our team. Sam did pretty good too. I would say this was like maybe slightly below average performance wise for him in this match, which I mean makes sense because we lost. But he he normally even has even stronger matches than this one. I would say. We already talked about Myrk. I think Myrk was getting better throughout the tournament. This was probably one of his best matches for the tournament. LSO, I don't know. I don't know what it is with LSO. Like he kind of bungled it in the top bracket finals against you guys, and did it again in this match to a certain extent. Like the pus on the FG, and then that green divide game. Like I don't know. Those are kind of some blunders for LSO, I guess I would say.
Yeah, sorry, I have my mic muted right now. Kid woke up. Yeah, I mean, it's a good run got by you guys for sure. I feel like you say it's like par for the course or whatever, but I mean, you did get a big win. I'd say specifically against that RSC team, that was a pretty impressive win for MIT. I think that was probably like their golden win of the 4 years.
Oh yeah, against Homer's team in 2023. Yeah. No, I agree
Really packed
completely.
in.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like that was definitely our best win, and we actually went undefeated. Oh, that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is what I'm really actually the thing I'm most proud of with MIT is that we didn't disband the team after the first loss, and we stuck together, and then went on to win two years after that. So I think I really take a lot of pride in like kind of, how do I say this, being not giving up easily. Let's just say, right, like having some grit. I think a lot of players they they get in their head that they think they can't win or whatever, or they're afraid of losing or whatever, and they give up and walk away. Like we didn't even make the freaking finals that year. That was enough to probably cause a lot of people to disband the team. I think that really doesn't get spoken about enough. Like most teams who don't make the finals are not going to reform, especially if that's their first year together. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to remake that fucking team and come back. Like usually, I would say. But we stuck it out because I think at some level we realized that like, hey, we didn't even have Kroon. We had PK kind of leave near the end of the tournament. Like it was just like we didn't really give it our best effort, and like so I knew we were capable of a lot more. And I think we showed that pretty well. So more than anything, that's I think what I'm most proud of for MIT. And yeah, that win against Homer's team in 2023. You know, they beat us good the year prior, so it was good to get them back the year after that. Yeah, that was. I think we showed like how you could take players from like almost no competitive experience, and certainly not at the high level, right? Like certainly no finals experience, and you can put them in MWC finals matches and still win. Like that I think was pretty unique because I think we went back and looked at it. Funk did, I think he made one finals appearance maybe in 2019 or something like that. Spoon, I don't think had any finals experience whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, it was cool to get to win some freaking tourneys with those guys. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like MIT, I think it's like shows the biggest shift in like tactics and strategy being the most important thing rather than your roster or your BC ability.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly. Yep.
and that's why when like people ask about comparing teams and stuff, if the modern team's like a pretty strong modern team, like realistically, who do I think would win? Probably the more modern team almost every single time. Not because I think they have better players or their clicking is necessarily so much better. I just think the tactics are really that big of a gap from year to year.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, yeah, I liked how MIT I think really proved like how you could like yeah we had top players at the top, but the point is you don't need a fully stacked roster, right? Like you don't need like you don't need your roster to be like completely deep, and you, like I would favor MIT against probably most MWC. There's probably only like I don't know something like 3 MWC teams that probably MIT couldn't take if I go back through all the history of it. Like we're not gonna be the strongest BC wise, but we kind of like um, I think our top 2 or 3 are usually still as good as anybody BC wise, and the other players can kind of hide behind that to a certain extent, and then just leverage tactics and strategy after that, right? So that's kind of how we play. That's kind of like the dynamic that our team has. I think it does well if you look back at, it is. I guess it is a dynasty to a certain extent. Like it's the definition of a dynasty is 2 back-to-back MWC wins. So at least the minimum definition of it, it does fit that definition, even though it's kind of like a weaker, lesser dynasty or whatever. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna consider other teams' dynasties like NNC and stuff, then I guess you have to consider that a dynasty.
Yeah, like I think MIT when I think of the teams that I think the MIT definitely loses against, I think of probably well, I think your team here kind of shows, and this is let's be clear, this is the most like this is the roided up version of MIT because we added Kirk and Myrk. And we had Sam last year, so no, we had Sam the last 2 years actually. So actually, Sam's always been a mainstay, I guess. But Kirk and Myrk, I mean, we did add Paris too, and you know, I don't know to what extent Paris helped necessarily, but like on paper, his name looked good at the time, right? So this is the roided up version of MIT. This is the best roster we had, and I knew that going into this. Like that was very intentional. I knew the only way to compete against your team was. I think your roster here is somewhat comparable to the 2020 super team. I mean, I know you're gonna say like, well, Groove and Homer, okay, but I don't think it's that significant of a difference, and I think the strats and the coordination is still going to be superior to that 2020 team. So I think it's roughly comparable, and we just saw, I guess, what our team like. I would say our 2 teams are basically equal. I think this match showed it. I mean, you guys won, you edged us out for sure, but I think we could both say that hey, if our teams played this match, 10 times. It's probably like really close basically every match, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would take this team to beat the 2020 team probably. Like I'd argue the 2020 team had stronger roster top to bottom. Like just
like
player
just the
skill.
last 2. I would just say like the last 2 players. That's it. Like Dantski, ours. Did you even have Dantski on that 2020 team?
No, he was on the other team.
Yeah. No, you didn't have ours either, right? Yeah.
It's
So
not a huge gap, but there is a gap. But like, yeah, I mean,
it's
our
really just
strategies
Groove and
are
Homer
quite
at the
bigger.
bottom. That's the only thing you can really say. Everybody else, I would say like other than Genghis on that 2020 roster, Dantski and ours are arguably better than everybody else on that 2020 roster. Like, definitely Dantski, I would say, for sure. So there were some advantages to this roster here, I think, too, that even the 2020 roster didn't have. It's really just, Groove and Homer don't really hold up to the last two slots against that 2020 roster, but I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty comparable. I think they're both very on even footing teams. I will say this: going into this match, you and I both said we were hoping for like the highest level games, like yet to be seen in Myth or whatever. I don't think we really achieved that, to be honest. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't think we did.
No, yeah, we didn't.
I think it was one of the better Mithril Cups. I don't know where to rate it on the scale, but it's definitely not the best final.
Yeah.
I still think 2018 was better.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. There's just too many very sloppy mistakes. I think these teams had the capability to reach those heights, but they at least in the two games, the top bracket and grand finals that we saw, they did not show that. Right? Like, they were still very good games, don't get me wrong, maybe still better than average overall, but they're definitely not the absolute best we've seen. They're not the pinnacle.
I definitely think they're probably in the upper third at Mithril Cup finals.
Yeah,
but
for sure,
not
for
the
sure.
top.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, well, I think we about covered it. Hopefully I didn't piss off too many people, but I probably did with some of my comments. That's okay. Whatever.
man.
It is what it is.
Sorry, Mithril Cup's over now.
Yeah. I was feeling burnt out by the end of this anyway. Like, I was like, yeah, as soon as this is done, I need to step away from Myth for a while. Like, MWC is great. It lasts just the right amount of time. You know what I mean? Like right before it started, I was like itching to play some games because it had been so long. And so, like, the itch came I don't know if it's because I'm, like, just calibrated to MWC over so many years or what, but, like, I don't know. It's just, like, I think it's just the perfect rhythm. It's, like, 10 months of no Myth, and then you Myth for 2 months, and then, like, by the end of those 2 months, I'm feeling burnt out right around the finals, and then the finals are done, and you get to take a nice long break from the game again, and then it's a great rinse and repeat rhythm that's what keeps me in this game. Like, if there was no MWC, like, a lot of us wouldn't be playing this game anymore. That's what keeping this game alive. So,
For sure.
all right, we'll wrap it up there. Once again, great job to Asmo's team. Really, like I said before, happy to lose to it. Like, this is the team. This is a worthy opponent. I never felt, for all the years I was an asshole to people, telling them maybe that they sucked or whatever. It's because I never felt that they were, in a sense, fully worthy opponents. This year, this team, fully worthy opponents. I knew it before the tournament even started, and very happy to lose to this team. Super, super solid team. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up there. I don't think Limp's coming back. Any closing comments, Asmo?
No, good games. I didn't want MIT to be the first three-peat team, so that was a big motivation to, like, put an extra effort. But no, I mean, I'm glad we had a good match, and I respect the way MIT competes, because you guys want good competition, you want good games, you guys don't look for cheap tactics, from what I've seen. So it was fun.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that necessarily for all members on our MRT team, but yeah, I appreciate it. Like, yeah, this day and age, like, let's just get some good games, guys. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, and I hope in future years, I do want to say, like, I hope our two teams can set a good positive tone for future competition. Like, I liked the competitive attitudes, not just between our two teams this year, but I did like it in 2020 as well. You kind of had, like, players on both teams that respected each other, and that kind of like kept the rest of the team that may have been talking more shit in line to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's good to just compete and not let the bullshit kind of get in the way. And like, look, we're all here to compete, and that means you have to accept the possibility that you lose. Like, that's part of competition too. If you couldn't lose, then the wins wouldn't mean anything either, right? So part of winning is also losing. This is the nature of the world. Part of living is dying. You know, for everybody who's upset about losing, you know, either on my team this year or previous years, whatever, it just whatever. It is what it is. It is also a team game. I also want to point out some people take it really personally. It's a freaking team game. There's no single player who can carry an entire team. You can't totally beat yourself up. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is if you put in a solid team performance, that is what kind of defines you as a player, right? Not the fact that your team lost. So I think Kirk added, even though Kirk was somewhat obviously not happy about the loss, Kirk, in my opinion, added to his legacy in this finals match. He walked away from the game for a really long time, came back and established himself as a top player, arguably MVP in the finals here, for our team at least, like right away after 15-year-long break almost from the game, right? So Zur, I think also similar story for Zur, right, on your team. So really happy to see both those players come back after such long absences, and then, you know, immediately they're still top players. That's great to see. So I want to just say, like, hey, you know, anybody, if you're on a losing team but you still put in a fucking solid performance, like, guess what? That your stock went up as a player. It didn't go down, right? So just do the best that you can, contribute to the team the best you can, and that's all that matters. So yeah, until next year, I do, Asmo and I, as we've alluded to, are probably teaming next year, so I do hope we can have a solid opposing team play against us. We'll see what happens, though. Until then, let's see. Asmo's got a draft tournament going on. If anybody's not aware of that, I'll just plug that real quick. And I think that's about it. Okay. All right, I'll shut up now. Until next time, I'm not sure when we're going to do another episode, to be honest. We might be taking a bit of a break. I'm still working on a strategy episode to do someday. Hopefully it'll be done before next MWC. So, yeah. Until then, maybe we'll cover the draft tourney or something like that. We'll see. All right. Take it easy, everybody. We're gonna close it there until next time. All right. See ya.
Later.